lost, there's always a hope. Rise and fight.
Welcome everybody to another day of the BSL. I'm Nyokin, and this time around I am joined by the one and only. It is Jae-yoon. What's up, man?
Doing well. I've been trying to get onto the BSL cast ever since Gypsy made the top four. But this time we're in a different top four, right? Gypsy's not around, but that's okay. And I'm super excited. I love these regional qualifiers. I feel like it really has you can create hype for each of region's players, and I'm excited for the final event when they all come together. So thanks for having me here.
Yeah, they've been exciting games too, and we've gotten to see some interesting meta across the regions. We had already the Asian Championship, and I don't think I've ever seen more aggressive games. J-Star pulling out 2-gate every single game. John Hoon going like a hidden cannon rush almost every game. If you think back into BSL 14, we were talking about this guy's big time macro, but he's just cheesing all over the place. So it is cool to have different play styles being shown. We're in the Latin American Championship this time around, and we've already had some upsets. For example, Gozudar, he's out. TerrOr in the losers bracket. Winners bracket right now, winners bracket finals. We're at that, and it's Dandy versus NbA, and NbA is the one that took down TerrOr. There's a potential that TerrOr gets knocked out, because if you look at that losers bracket, that's a pretty stacked losers bracket.
Yeah, I mean that's the Naz effect, man. I've been playing NbA. He joined our team. He's been training, and now he's just destroying TerrOr, Tech, and he's gonna destroy Dandy today. I'm calling it. You know, everyone thinks Dandy's gonna be the favorite here, but I'm rooting for NbA.
Well, that's quite the call. NbA is strong, but I mean, Dandy, he's been a powerhouse for so long. I am honestly not necessarily in agreement with it, but it wouldn't be shocking to me, because I've played NbA on the ladder a couple times. He has impressive macro for sure. Dandy's been playing a lot lately, but it seems like he recently came back, somewhat recently. I don't know how super active he is, but yeah, NbA definitely could make it to the grand finals. The matchup for me actually today is Tech versus TerrOr. TerrOr, he's the previous BSL champion, or one of the previous BSL champions, and Tech is a big threat. It's also PVT. I wonder if Tech can take him down, and I'm wondering which of our Zergs will make it through to the semifinals. Is it going to be Jiren, or is it going to be newcomer Zedi?
Yeah, I also agree. I think Tech and TerrOr is going to be a really great matchup. Tech has always been like that solid Protoss in the South American scene. Like, he's got solid macro, solid micro, has a good build. But you know, TerrOr is one of those guys that he's very aggressive, very hard to deal with. But you know, if his aggression doesn't work out, I can definitely see Tech winning this. It's only a best of 3, not a best of 5. And yeah, I actually have no idea who's going to win Jiren versus Zedi. I know Jiren is pretty good at ZVZ. He's got some good Muta micro, but let's see if Zedi can surprise us tonight.
Yeah, we already saw Zedi take down Cruza 2-0, but then he got absolutely smashed by Dandy. I mean, it just was Dandy all day. He's a complete powerhouse in TVZ, yeah. But as you stated, DVZ a little different. I would favor Jiren though, because Jiren, aka Babo, he is known for his Muta control. When you think of him, you think of top tier Muta control, like all in can kill you Muta control. It's up there with Eon Zerg, True Touch, and the likes. So it's going to be very hard for Zedi, in my opinion, unless he has some maybe straight up build order wins, which, you know, can happen in ZVZ quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the cool thing about ZVZ, right? Like, if you're kind of in that similar class, right? Best of 3 can go both ways.
Yeah. I have never seen Zedi play in a Pro League series. You can see the profile stats here. He's been in Ghost League a couple times. He won Hasu League in Season 12. And then you can see Jiren, he makes it into BSL almost every season. Generally like a round of 16, round of 24 player. But as I stated, his Muta control is top notch. So he should be the favorite here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was also in a round of 8 once as well. I think he fell against Eon Zerg in one of those series back then. But yeah, obviously, Pro League is just no surprise there. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what kind of play. I think I've played Zedi on the ladder in the past. I feel like I remember many lings. That's what I recall.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see what they got for us.
Well, when we see the screen, our players are ready. It's time to get into game 1 of our first best of 3. It's Zedi versus Jiren on Overwatch. Okay, in the top left, our red Zerg. It is Jiren.
In the bottom right, we got the blue Zerg as Zedi. So, what do you think about this Overwatch map? Do you any cool games or strategies you've seen from a ZBZ standpoint?
Well, I mean, you're the Zerg expert here, so I'll just give my complete outsider opinion. I think 2-player maps is the way to go for ZVZ. Both players are going to have full intel. You're not going to have one player, getting a lucky scout on a 4-player map and the other player being completely in the dark. Because of it also being a 2-player map, I don't expect to see a 12 hatch. I think we're going to maybe see 12 pool as the greediest open, but could be wrong. You also mentioned Zedi. He loves lings. That's also my experience on the ladder versus him lately. So if anybody's going to go for like 9 pool speed, I would bet it's going to be him. But we see overlords from both players.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about, 2-player maps is you kind of reduce the variance, right? Like, on 4-player maps, the player that gets the first scout is massively advantaged. But here, there's a lot less of that. And I feel like sometimes you can go for like a 9 pool and maybe loop your lings around outside of the overlord vision. You always have to be a little bit careful about that. But looks like here they're both going for at least a 12 pool or 12 hatch. It might even just look okay. Looks like a 12 pool from both players actually. So mirror builds, interesting.
Yep, 12 pool versus 12 pool. This is kind of a middle of the road build. Good versus 9 pool, good versus over pool, but obviously slightly behind versus the hatch first. Both players going into gas also. So they're going to go low ground hatch, right? Like they're going to put a hatch in their nat, I imagine. Like I've seen a couple people build hatches in their main. They should. Okay, and there it goes.
Yeah, so the cool thing about Overwatch is actually that bridge sometimes acts as a wall sometimes, right? You can kind of block your lings there. So ling aggression can be a little bit harder, and that forces the opposing lings to kind of go around that larger area to the base. So I do like this choice. I mean, I think the 12 pool is very safe. 9 pool is such a threat, so you don't want to be caught going 12 hatch. But I honestly think we might actually see a game that goes into mutas here. I mean, I would be surprised to see if they both go lots of lings given that bridge there. But looks like they're going to be mirroring. They're going to see that both players are doing it. Let's see if one of them goes for a ling or a layer first.
Well, something subtle here is Zedi spawn bottom right, and if you listen to ASL cast, Scan always talks about that mineral boosting, man. And even though Jiren has had the 100 gas for a very long time, there is still no lair from him, just now starting it. And it was not like it was speed before lair. This is just flat out a later lair. It's way late, actually. I don't know why he focused on more lings as opposed to the lair timing, but this is going to be like a 15, 20-second lead, actually, for Zedi in terms of Spire timing.
Yeah, I think he was actually waiting for his Overlord to see if there was a hatchery on the low grounds. Now, I think it is fine to also just go layer straight up as well, but maybe he had like a different decision tree if he didn't see that hatchery over there. But he did see the second Overlord, and usually the second Overlord is kind of telling that obviously it's not some sort of 9 pool or some sort of craziness happening. So you kind of as you get more vision, you slowly start picking out what build they're doing, you rule out certain things. But yeah, Zedi is going to have the advantage. I mean, Jiren does have a little bit more supply here, better economy, and forcing a sunken colony, so he's definitely going to be playing that the defensive.
Yeah, we have the first real deviation from both players. We've got a sunken for Zedi, so even though we thought he was going to be the one aggressive with the lings, it's actually Jiren. Jiren opted for speed, whereas Zedi has not gotten speed at all. So he's going to have that additional gas, which means he's going to have an additional muta for the entirety of the game until he gets speed. And actually, Jiren's not going to commit to this. He's now spotting that there is a sunken there, and now he's built more lings, so he will try and bust this, I imagine, but sunken's so tanky, it's going to be really hard for him to bust through.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if Jiren. I think he did make a little more lings back there. Looks like he's making drones. Never mind. So sometimes, if the Overlord isn't looking in ZBZ, the second they start running away, sometimes you can actually start making a bunch of surprising opponent. But because of, like you said, the sunken colony there makes things a little bit iffy. Jiren is going to move out. He has to be careful about a potential counterattack because sometimes your opponent can catch you snoozing. I don't know if Zedi actually has speed on the way. Probably not, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and make some mutas. He's kind of short on minerals here, so I'm not loving that super fast gas choice there, but let's see how things go.
Yeah, somehow Zedi's down 5 workers despite not having as many lings as Jiren here. So, of course, his mutas are going to be 15, 20 seconds faster, but 5 drone difference when you only have 11. I mean, that's a massive lead for Jiren. He's going to just run away with the econ. He even has his nat gas up and running, and I think, Zedi has 1 on gas at his nat? So even though there was a 100 gas lead for Zedi, Jiren's already caught up in the gas.
Yeah, I think Zedi may have just gotten a little bit nervous here. I mean, he made so many lings to kind of panic, but you have to do something with those lings, and I don't think you would have even needed that many. Well, so he may have just panicked and made a mistake. Oh, it looks like we're gonna get some Scourges in there, but he's gonna get moving shot if at least one of those. Okay, not anymore. So he's gonna get away safely, but let's see if he can actually micro his way out of this.
Yeah, this is really hard to micro. It's just 3 mutas versus 4 Scourge. That's good control. He still loses 1 though. 2 of the Scourge are left over. Another one connects, and Zedi. Oh, he is in big. Another one connects. This is as bad as it can go for Zedi. He even lost his Overlord.
Yeah, that's almost gonna be game over because actually that's the worst case scenario when like a Scourge hits a muta each, because once they get into battle, which is gonna be soon, those 2 mutas are gonna melt. So ideally, you would actually want to hit multiple mutas instead of sniping 1. And looks like we do have some ling move outs. I don't think Jiren has a sunken colony, so maybe there is some possibility that the lings can get in there, do catastrophic damage, but I think we're just so behind that 5 worker lead. I mean, it doesn't sound like much, but I mean, I can guarantee you Zedi's just, he's struggling right now.
Yeah, and it's like 10 mutas for Jiren. Supplies are 50 to 34, which is massive in ZVZ, and it feels like those larvae in the main of Zedi just are never being used. They're just sitting there idle. He's massively supply blocked. And just now starting an Overlord, man, so he's gonna be supply blocked even longer. This is brutal.
Yeah, he's sending another drone to the gas, but he has 600, and I think Jiren is gonna say, okay, I got 11, 12 mutas and a group of Scourges. I've got good muta control. Now it's time to attack. But we are seeing a bit of a counterattack here from Jiren, so maybe he can try to buy some time. But it looks like we do get caught by these mutas.
Yeah, all these lanes are gonna die. None of them are gonna get really any damage, and even if they do somehow get to the nat, there's more than enough lings for Jiren to hold it. I like how Zedi moved across the map with his mutas, and Jiren's gonna back off. I mean, he needs to actually go for a counterattack and get drone kills. But if he does that, he's going to be so far forward, he's probably going to get caught. I really don't know what Zedi can do. I mean, he's going to try and play it out, but when you're down 20 supply and you only have 40 supply, it's just basically impossible in ZVZ.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. He could wipe out the entire natural mineral line and they'd be even, right? And they'd have to take like 0 damage for it to equalize in any way, shape, or form. But okay, we got some good micro here, so Jiren throwing away a few Scourges. I mean, I think he got 1 connection there, but I mean, this is just way too much. I think Jiren is being a little gun shy here. I mean, I think he's just kind of playing for that high probability win. Just as the game goes on, his win rate improves from 90 to 95 to 99 to 99.9. So he's just really, really, really doesn't want to lose this. And obviously in a tournament setting, you don't want to take any risks, especially in a loser bracket in a ZVZ. So I understand why he's doing it. Probably just going to keep banking up. Maybe he's waiting for an upgrade of some sort. But he can definitely go in and just win right away.
Yeah, he could have +1 armor being upgraded, and we know, of course, that that's a huge upgrade. We see that it's not being upgraded, so he, I guess, is feeling confident now. He's got more than 1 group of mutas, maybe like a group and a half plus something like 10 Scourge, 4 Scourge. Okay, maybe it's actually 2 groups of mutas, basically. It's 20 mutas versus 10 with 10 Scourge. Zedi, you just can't win this fight. And Jiren now recognizes, like, oh, I have actually way too many. He's going to finally engage, and he just swallows it up. It's over. There's nothing Zedi can do.
Yeah. GG. Well played by Jiren. I mean, I don't think Jiren actually knew the advantage that he had, right? Because like he probably was playing a little bit conservative because you know, he couldn't have known that he was 5 drones up. Like he could probably infer maybe it was a little bit ahead because of the sunken and all the lings, but I don't think he knew exactly how far he was at, so he was kind of waiting for that opportunity to just go for the kill. But he was like 25 supply ahead in ZVZ, and that was just brutal.
Yeah, I agree. You have to think from Jiren's perspective, he built a lot of lings, he even got speed. And he did no damage with it, right? He didn't commit to it. So if you're in his shoes, you're thinking, okay, well, the other guy droned. I must be behind. But actually, somehow, Zedi was cutting extensively, and he was just actually down the whole game. Well, now Zedi's down 0-1. This could potentially be his last game versus someone like Jiren, because Jiren's such an expert in ZVZ. I told you I like the 2-player maps. If you're Zedi here, do we go with another 2-player map like Butter? Do we go for Sylphid, or do we kind of roll the dice on something like Vermeer?
I think we got to roll the dice if I were Zedi. I mean, you can really see the experience coming in from Jiren, right? Because like, you know, he was executing on his build, he knew what he was doing at each step of the way, and I think you can kind of see that. Whereas Zedi, I feel like maybe if this was a practice game or a ladder game, I don't think he would have made all those things. You know, I think he kind of just panicked. Sometimes you're just going crazy with your APM. You just spam like, you know, select drones and make all lings, and you're like, oh shoot, I meant to only make 1 pair of lings, not 3 pairs of lings. And you know, sometimes that happens, and it's a tournament setting. And you know, I know I've made those kinds of mistakes in the past, but you know, Jiren is very seasoned, and I would say if I'm Zedi, I'm increasing the variance, man. I'm gonna take that 4-player map. I'm gonna hope he doesn't scout me. I'm gonna do something a little bit crazy. I'm gonna play with those lings. But yeah, let's see it.
Yeah, I agree. I think even though I like 2-player maps for ZVZ, I think it could favor Zedi here if he gets a lucky scout. When I used to play Zerg, it was always my favorite when I would hit S twice in a row, and then you've got like 100 Scourge built, and you're like, yeah, I definitely didn't want that. I wanted Hydras or something.
I've done that in ZVT, where back when I went like 3-hatch Meta, and I made 9 pairs of Scourge instead of Meta, so...
yeah, I'm sure you were happy about that. You're like, yes, let's play this out, right?
Yeah, I just left immediately, so... but you know what happens, man. I've done it. You know, every Zerg player has accidentally made stuff with Redraft Larva, but okay, we're going to Butter. Okay, so we're going to stick to the 2-player maps. Interesting.
Yep, sticking to the 2-player map. Let's get into game 2. If Zedi loses here, he's out. Okay, in the top right, he needs a win, otherwise he's done. It's Zedi.
Bottom right, we got the red Zerg, Jiren, seasoned Pro League Zerg player, coming in hot. So let's see what they've got. I would, you know what I'd love to see now, Ken? I would love to see one of those proxy hatchery. You know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, actually in ASL, right? I forget if it was Hero versus one of the Zergs. It was like Sulky, right? Or JD, I forget.
Mm-hmm.
He made like the hatchery at the top right, like at the bottom right of his base, right? And I think it was Sulky versus Hero or something. And then he just confused the hell out of Hero, because Hero was like, what's going on? This can't be a 1 hatchery. And then he sent lings around everywhere on the map to look for the proxy hatchery, but it was in the corner of his base. So, you know, there are kind of gimmicky builds like that, you know, where you can actually make a hatchery like outside at some other base and you start producing a bunch of things. But looks like we do have a 9 hatchery here against a 9 pool from Jiren. So it looks like we are going to see lots of lings.
Yep, this is going to be a lot of lings from Zedi, right? Like, this is 9 hatch, 9 pool. Probably, is he going to all in here? Like, is this something where you all in and go into lair, or do you go into evolution chamber? I feel like whenever I've seen this, it's been evolution chamber because they go really, really hard on the lings.
He could, but I would guess that Zedi would probably just go all in here. I mean, it's such a powerful build, right? Like, it is going to be still very micro dependent because the lings are still going to arrive before their lings, Zedi's lings are out. But it's going to be much sooner than a 12 hatch, right? So it is possible with good micro, if you just delay with your drones a little bit. And if he survives, gets a good battle and counterattacks, he could definitely end the game. And, you know, sometimes that forces Jiren to create like a sunken inside of his main. You can create an offensive sunken and end the game there too. So hopefully we can see something cool like that. But we do have the Lings already out, so it is really hard to still defend against this. You need to remain calm. It is a Pro League game. Wait, is he? Okay. I thought he was making a whole bunch of drones, but okay. Looks like he is going to start making some Lings.
Yeah, when you were talking about wanting to see a 3-hatch, before you mentioned that, I was actually thinking I want to see the True Touch Ling all in with sunken support pushing into your main or net. I mean, he did that versus you, right? Like, I remember that game. It was on the I can't remember the exact map, but
it was like Bloody Ridge or something.
Yeah, Bloody Ridge. Well, we've got 6 Lings on top of the 2 Lings that pop out, and he already kills one of them.
Yeah, that's pretty big. And remember, the speed is going to finish really soon for Jiren. So Zedi is taking that fight way too early, and I think he should also probably even bring some drones at this point. Otherwise, it's going to be game. I don't think we can outproduce this because he's camping the production there, and he's losing another.
Oh, it's already game, Jaeyoon. Look at this. There's 9 Lings left over versus 3. Now he's going to build a sunken? I don't think so. Like, he was the one that was supposed to be all-inning. You can't be all-inning and then also defend, like, trying to defend an all-in. Oh my god. He pulls 4 drones. Jiren, we don't know if he's got Lair, but I imagine he does.
Yeah, he for sure does here. I mean, pretty good drones there, but I don't think this is enough. He's got to have, like, some Jadong micro to survive this.
Yeah, for sure. This is so much damage that Jiren doesn't even have to commit here. Oh, he's going to go for it, though. Now, this could be a mistake, because the drone is doing a ton of damage, actually. Now, Zedi has a Ling lead. Well, maybe a slight lead. But the problem is that the Spire started for Jiren.
Yeah, and now this is where Zedi can start to outproduce. So he does have some outs if he can just go for a big Ling all-in. I mean, I would not make a Spore, and I would just go right now. I wonder if Jiren is actually making a sunken colony in the base. Okay, it looks like he's trying to make it. That's going to be the only way he'll ever lose this game. Making some more Lings, so I don't think we're going to see any sort of Spores or any, later game for Zedi here. So Jiren, I think he just has to take drones off gas and just defend this. If he can survive this, he wins. But it looks like that Spire also is almost going to complete. Maybe if Jiren could probably hold at that little choke there, wait for the sunken colony, I don't think Zedi is going to be able to break this.
I don't think he's going to be able to break it either. This is more Ling for him, though. However, arc advantage for Jiren right now. Zedi, you got to go, man. Like, I know you're trying to wait for the angle, but if you wait for that Spire to finish, Nita's going to pop out, and you have nothing that can hit it. So he is going to go in now. He gets not a favorable engagement, but he kills a decent amount. However, there's just too many Lings, and Jiren's going to hold this, which means this game is probably pretty much over. I don't see an evolution chamber anywhere, and Zedi, he just really doesn't have much.
Yeah, this has to be game. We don't see any anti-air. He's going to try to at least send some Lings, but I mean, there's no coming back from this. I mean, Jiren is making the smart play, not being crazy, just coming back home. Sending one Muta to the drone line and defending with the other one. So Jiren is playing this really well. He also pulled the drones off the gas, or maybe he has like one on gas. And I really like the way Jiren kind of kept his composure. And again, you can really see his experience.
Yeah, well, Zedi got to make a decision on these Lings. Okay, he's going to go for it. The SimCity is great. Okay, that Spire, I was thinking, that's an exposed Spire. The problem is there's still just too many Lings, and he's still not even going to get it, I don't think. It's just going to barely live with
oh my god,
health.
Feels bad. I mean, he might just get it for the moral victory. Okay, all right, Zedi with the moral victory. Oh, we're actually still trying to make some scores. Okay, took down that Overlord, but yeah, I don't know.
There's no sports in the main anymore. That means the hatch is dead. Oh, there is, but the pool is open now, so that can just get killed off.
Yeah, and you know, Jiren can even just like swing some Lings by and he can run that through and probably just camp the fronts, and that's probably what he's gonna do. He's gonna swing them on in and then just kill the main base.
Yeah, he could also be the one that sunken pushes. I didn't see a drone get sent out, but that would be a game-ending move. Jiren's going to swoop in with these mutas. Try and pop a drone. He's got the magic number of 5. See ya, drone. Oh, not all of them connect there, but I mean the drone count is at 3. Like Zedi can't mine anywhere really. It's just a matter of time.
He's also making some more lings, so I guess he's trying to not completely die here. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I guess it's we're just waiting here. So I guess Zedi is weary of the run by, which would be the kill move. But it looks like we might actually have too many lings, so Jiren actually noticing weakness here and gonna go in for the kill, and it looks like we're not gonna have enough lings to do the block. So this is gonna be GG.
Yep, not enough lings, and Jiren, he's gonna easily take game 2, and unfortunately Zedi, he is going to be knocked out, but he did play well yesterday, so it's unfortunate to see him be eliminated, but you know, just how it goes sometimes, not your day. Where did it go wrong? Was it simply just losing that first ling that popped out of the natural?
Yeah, I mean, you really have to save every single ling, right? And you're all in anyways, right? So, you know, you might as well bring a few drones in the beginning, right? Because you don't want to play so conservative, and you have some leftover minerals, so like, why not bring a few drones? Make sure you get that first fight really well. But unfortunately, you know, it snowballs really fast. You lose one ling, that could lose you the game. So, yeah, it's really tough. The 9 pull is hard to hold. You do need some X on micro, but if you do hold, I think you can have good odds to actually win. So I think he just, again, probably got flustered. Jiren with the experience, playing it cool, great control. Zedi's just a great, you know, offensive player as well, but you know, he just got a little bit nervous, and you know, it's ZVZ, so there's no shame in just losing to a great ZVZ.
That is totally true, and I like how you said you can lose one ling and it just snowballs the game. What a matchup, man! What a matchup!
That's how much
crazy.
the ling, you know, the ling micro is so important, especially if you're going for like all ling there. But no, overall, well played. I mean, well played. It's a quick 2-0, and yeah, what's the next matchup we got here?
Yep, so next matchup is going to be TerrOr versus Tech, which is going to be a TVP. This is going to be an exciting matchup because Tech is a dangerous Protoss player, and we already know TerrOr is vulnerable to Protoss because he got sent to the losers bracket by NbA. So we're going to go into a break, and we'll be back in a couple minutes with that match, so don't go anywhere. We're back, guys. We just saw Jiren move on in the losers bracket. He's going to be awaiting the winner of this matchup. It is TerrOr versus Tech. We already saw TerrOr lose a couple games to Protoss to send him here. So I think Tech's got a good shot of actually eliminating TerrOr.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen their matches before? I mean, you know, I play TerrOr a lot, and he almost always goes for like some sort of like 4-base. You know what's kind of interesting as an aside? TerrOr and Mihu almost play kind of similarly. Like, you know, they have like excellent control, excellent aggression. They always like to be very aggressive and kind of like pull you apart and end you really well. Do you see TerrOr doing that a lot to Tech? Do you know a little bit about their history?
As far as TerrOr versus Tech specifically, no, I don't know. But I know TerrOr does play Mihu-esque in the sense that he does like to be in your face often. I would say the difference between TerrOr and Mihu is Mihu's, it's always for fact. The question for him is whether it's, or what's the timing? Is it is it 10 tanks? Is it 5 tanks that he's moving out with? Whereas TerrOr, he has all varieties of openers, and then he transitions it into maybe 4-fact or 5-fact. I think we saw in one of the games earlier, we saw him go 1-fact, 1 starport, and then transition into 5-fact. Whereas you would never see that from Mihu. But it's still an aggressive play, right? It's still in your face all the time. But thinking back to more recent BSLs, TerrOr's played just quite standard, actually. Like, he doesn't actually play aggressive all the time, which is one of the reasons he's so dangerous is you expect him to be aggro and then he's not, and it's like, well, I'm gateway man versus a guy that got 2-1. How do I beat this?
Yeah, that's the hard thing about TerrOr, right? Because like it's not like he likes to play very aggressive, and I think in most of his matchups, but he could very well play a good, solid, great late game, right? So whenever he throws that in there and you think he's being super aggressive and then he takes a 3rd base and he's got 2-1 on the way, then you're in a little bit of trouble. So that's the hard part about TerrOr. Let's see if he decides to continue to be a little bit aggressive. I'm sure he's played Tech a lot of times. I'm sure they've had quite a storied history that I just haven't seen personally. And, you know, Tech, again, likes to play a pretty solid PvP as well. Wouldn't be surprised if he would, like, pull out, you know, a little bit of a crazy build or a cheese in his tournament style, but I expect him to play solid for the most part.
Yeah, I think the key to victory here versus TerrOr, if your Tech, is you've got to shut down the early pressure, whether it's a drop or whether it's the 2-fact push after expand, and then after that you just got to go into either arbor timing or carriers. You can't be stuck versus gateway man, because we've already seen players like Ghostdark who, you know, is gateway man, and TerrOr went on 7 factories on 2 base, and then he did an initial push with it, it got slammed, and then he just sat there, and Ghostdark, he just expected more attacks to come, sat on 3 bases with gateway man really, and well, TerrOr never attacked after that, and then it's 3-base Terran versus 3-base Protoss with 2-1 upgrades, and you're just not in a good position. So I think Tech, he needs to slam the first attack, take bases, and then actually get Tech. I don't think you can ever beat TerrOr just gateway manning him. I also don't want to see shuttle man. I know it's meta these days, but versus TerrOr, who will sit there and just build a million tanks, I also don't think that's a victory path for Tech.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen Tech play the shuttle man. I feel like the shuttle man style is very annoying, but it's also, in my experience playing it, it's very strong when it's strong, but at the same time, things can go downhill quick if your shuttles don't connect. Because like you typically are very behind the attack, and you're relying on storm drops to hold off a Terran push, and it's really hard. Like when I see pros do it, they kind of like create an arc, and then they slowly force the vultures to come out, and then they storm, and then they like move back and hinge. You know, it's kind of like this funny thing, and then they keep making like 12 High Templars, and they slowly push it back. But honestly, a lot of Protoss players don't have that patience. They just like say, screw it, I'm gonna go 1A2, A3, A4, I hope it works. But let's see. But you know, I think Tech is definitely capable of doing that, but it is harder to do in a tournament setting, right? Being patient, just waiting for the vultures to kind of move forward a little bit so you can get a storm off, inch back, you know, constantly doing that over and over. And sometimes, like, hey, some of these pro matches, they're like battling for like full like 3-4 minutes trying to push, and the Protoss keeps like storming and just, you know, it's really funny to see, but it's very it takes a lot of patience.
Yeah, the shuttle style is really hard to make work, and we have decided that Gladiator is going to be the map for game 1. Let's get into it, find out who's going to take a 1-0 lead in our series.
Yeah, and even looking at the PBT, you know, win rates, it's favored 58% in BSL, and I think this map sucks for Terran, right?
It does. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of openers these days for PBT. I mean, they like to open Zealot, right? Zealot openers. Yeah, well, let's see what Tech's got for us.
Right, in the top left are Red Protoss. It is Tech.
And in the top right, we have Loop Boy, aka TerrOr, as the blue Terran.
Yeah, this map is really hard for Terran. It is extremely difficult. There's so many bases available that Protoss can take, or Zerg can take, but specifically versus Protoss, it is really hard to push on this map. It's going to be really tough for Terror here. You know, when I saw this map and you were talking about how it's a 60% win rate for Protoss, I instantly thought of the game of DeWalt. I forget who it was versus. I don't remember if it was a BSL game or a show match series either, but there was a game where DeWalt had 20,000 minerals. He had all of the top side of the map, and Terran literally sat there the entire game and camped it out. So if you can split the map, this is an okay map for Terran, and if Protoss goes only Arbiters the whole game. But if they don't, and you're not able to split, which, by the way, is incredibly difficult, I think this is a really good map choice for Tech.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it looks like, I'm not sure if how we're gonna open here, but what do you think about factory expanding? Do you think rack expand's a little bit risky here? I know the rush distances are very short on Gladiator if you're adjacent, so I know the Zealot can get there really fast, but it looks like Tech is just gonna start mining gases with 3 probes immediately. But would you open factory here? Are you like racks, or what's your choice?
I think factory's the go-to. Like you said, the rush distances. Yeah, rush distance is pretty close, and a common counter is like proxy robo, and you can just put it on like one of the ledges or one of the ridges that's right next to the third base. Can't really do anything about it. Then you've got to deal with Reaver outside your main. You've got to deal with instant elevator. So I think it's no shocker that we're going to see straight factory here. I wanted to say this though, because these players are vetoing maps down to 1. You gotta think like, okay, well, why would TerrOr ever let this map get through? So I feel like he must have something planned.
Yeah, I think he probably feels pretty comfortable on it. Yeah, I would definitely would have banned this one if I were. I mean, I've been playing a little bit of Terran, not so great Terran, but I played a couple of games on this, and it is really annoying, especially with the aggression. But I mean, luckily for Terran, we're not going to see any aggression. You know, at least Zealots coming out of Tech, and Tech is going to get the last scout. So good for TerrOr. Although TerrOr also is getting last scout himself, so he has to get that bunker before the CC, and forcing a little bit less of an economic opener. But looks like they're both going to have to suffer from that.
Yep, Goon and Probe going to basically... Oh, actually, look at this. Probe's going to hook around to mid-right. Now this... I didn't actually catch a glimpse whether the SCV and Probe intercepted each other, but this could be some type of proxy from Tech. However, TerrOr spotted that it's a Nexus, so how fast could the Tech actually be? So instead it's just going to be a pylon here to give a little vision. I would have actually liked this pylon to be at top middle as opposed to bottom right, because what's the odds of a drop, for example, going down to the bottom right and then swooping around to bottom left and then up to top left? I think it's low, whereas something like a drop to top right and then swooping around to top left, well, could be pretty high. But I mean, that's a minor thing. It still gives him vision, and now TerrOr can't necessarily, you know, like hide a third base there.
Yeah, it's really interesting actually, that position. I guess he maybe was just there.
Ooh.
Oh, he's gonna go there right away, but I mean, I don't think there's gonna be any Tech over there, so maybe he's just trying to hide that third pylon to freak him out just a little bit, but I think TerrOr's gonna see it immediately.
Yeah, the pylon's gonna just be there to give a little vision. Now, I talked about how I wanted to see Tech shut down some aggressive play from TerrOr, and TerrOr already showed versus Ghost of Dark that he wanted to go for, the 2-fact follow-up from an expansion, which is pretty much the most common play. And well, I can tell you, Invisible Man shuts it down real fast. The problem for Tech, though, is what we're seeing right here. Is that was a 410 armory. So TerrOr has no intention to attack at all. However, because the armory is so fast, you see an eBay anywhere, Jayoon? Because I don't.
I actually like this play. I wonder if this was actually what Tech wanted to do, because, TerrOr actually saw that pylon. He noticed there was not a third pylon, so he noticed maybe there's a proxy out here. And he went there to check. He saw the pylon, but he saw that the pylon wasn't there, making anything. So TerrOr might be thinking, he's trying to trick me. I caught him, haha. But you know what? Tech is actually making Dark Templars, and I think the DTs might just win the game. I don't even see an eBay or an Academy.
Yeah, this is one of those games where, like you said, he found the pylon. You're not going DT or Proxy Robo or something like that anymore. So I'm just going to greed like crazy. And unfortunately for TerrOr, I gotta say, this eBay is basically 40 seconds late. This DT may win the game, just straight up.
Yeah. This is a really, really, this is an eBay build where the eBay coin is just super duper late with a very fast armory. So I like how TerrOr incorporates these kinds of plays where he's very, very greedy in like these high variance plays like this, but I think he's gonna get punished here.
Yep, he's dead. Yeah. There's no turret. It's not even started. eBay's not even done. Academy's not even started. I would love to see hold position on the ramp with that DT, because then it locks in all the tanks, and he would kill every single one of them. Instead, okay, he can hold position right there, and that means that this natural cannot be saved ever. He's going to focus down the SCV. He's killing the tanks left and right. He's going to kill the turret also. This is fantastic. Tech, he's doing it, man.
Oh my god, and that's a GG. Man, Tech with the big plays. I really like what I see. It's actually funny because I saw this build before. I think I was just like playing some funny games against Pork where, I scouted the Nexus, and then he went for like a super fast Citadel, and you don't really expect a Citadel, but I think it was perfect for Tech because he hit that third pylon to make it look like he was proxying, but then he wasn't proxying. But it was kind of like a double juke because he was going DTs back at home. So really well played, really well thought out by Tech. Very impressed by his build choice and really punished TerrOr. He should have gotten his eBay earlier if it was just kind of like a standard solid build order, but unfortunately he took, he made a little bit of a gamble, and that's what happens. You get that super fast, armory without the protection and you get punished.
Yeah, that was an extremely fast armory. I can't even tell you how fast of an armory that was. For example, for perspective, it takes, I think, basically 7 minutes to get +2 from when you start your armory. So that gives him an 11-minute 2-1, right? 11 minutes. Are you really pushing at 11 minutes with 2-1? So that's how fast it was, because normal timing is like 12, 30, or 13 minutes. And yeah, you really don't expect to see the fast DT follow-up, but Tech, it was perfect. And now, he's one game away, dude.
Yeah, I know.
However,
Tech might be taking him out, man. This is getting really dangerous.
Yep, however, there is no other map in the map pool like Gladiator, I have to say. There's no other map where I think to myself, what a nightmare to play PvP on. So it's still there's gonna be a lot of good map choices for TerrOr now. He's got Vermeer. He's got Sylphid like we see here, and he's decided that that's what he's going to risk his life on. So let's get into game 2, see if Tech can do it and eliminate one of our previous BSL champions.
Yeah, getting into game number 2.
So in the top middle with the Dream Spawn, it is TerrOr.
And in the bottom right, we have the blue Protoss. It's Tech.
All right, Jane, let me ask you here about Sylphid, okay? Artosis, Scan, they always cry about how if they get like top middle TVZ, for example, they hate it. They say it's unplayable. Are you one of those players where you hate the top? Because I think top is great. Like, that's the best position for mineral boosting. Like, I feel like if I get here, it's a dream. I definitely don't want to get bottom left, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I don't play, TVZ or TVP as much on this map, but I think it's okay. I mean, I like the positioning actually. When the really annoying thing about this map, especially when you go 3 base as a Terran player, is you can lay those tanks on the ledge behind your third gas base, and it's so annoying for Protoss. So, and I actually, I mean, I saw the statistics. I thought it was like 54% favored towards Protoss. I thought it would be favored a little bit towards Terran. I don't know what it looks like in the pro scene, but the cool thing about Sylphid is that you can build a lot of turrets, kind of like stretching out if you go clockwise into your base. And I think that really favors Terran sometimes, especially when you're trying to like split the map, because turrets are really annoying. And I don't know if that actually factors into like the win rates. But do you know what that actually looks like from like the pro scene? Like, is this a good map for Terran or Protoss?
I feel like this is a good PvP map. I guess I could look at Spawnbong and see exactly what the statistics are, but I would say at worst it would be like 50-50 for Terran. Like it's really good for Terran. You have your third base right there, which has a gas. Your mineral only, you don't even have to go very far. I mean, even your fifth base isn't even that far. And we know TerrOr has strong pushing power. Like, he could push while also taking mid right. And then what do you do as tech here? Like, spam turrets there. It covers not just the mid right. It also defends the top right mineral only. Now we've got a forward gate, so we're gonna have some zealot harassment. But I already like TerrOr's wall positioning with the racks and depot, and then he can even tuck a factory behind that.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking good for Terry. Scouted that really fast. And looks like we might lose that probe. Okay, we're going to save it. Pretty good. And we might need to have some SCV blocking so that the Zealots don't walk in there. But looking good for Terror so far. And yeah, I really anticipate him playing aggressive and probably like expanding towards tech with a lot of turrets. And I know Terror loves to just like control the map with mines and turrets. He just absolutely loves doing that. Okay, we got the probe coming in here. Nice block with the SCV, and not even denying the kill there. And I don't think the Zealots can get any damage. Oh, looks like we get one SCV. I didn't pause there. All right, we got the zealot killed there, and coming back, we're gonna make that factory and the expansion. So looking pretty good for Terror. Okay, looks like we actually lost Nyoke into a connection there. But okay, second zealot coming in here, getting some kills off, but only gets one Marine. So I like what we have. From Terror also has like the factory coming up, factory plus the CC. Looks like to me that Tech is also going to be expanding here, if I'm seeing correctly. And yeah, let's see how Tech wants to play it. SCV is also getting a scout and sees everything, so there can't possibly be a robotics or a citadel. Oh, I actually missaw that there isn't. So this looks really bad. Got two factories, so I actually think maybe Terror is probably going to go for some sort of two-factory push, maybe 3 tanks into Speed Vulture and Mine, and it's going to be really hard for Tech to hold, especially because he didn't find a damage that he wanted to, and looks like we're also getting an eBay, just in case he missed kind of a robotics or a citadel over there. Got the CC up, robotics coming down for Tech, range is finishing. Let's see if Tech also wants to play for a shuttle here, and maybe we're gonna see a proxy pylon up there. Looks like Tech wants to do something with that, but it looks like we have 3 gateways on the way, so I don't think it'll be a proxy. Maybe he's just kind of scouting to see if he can see anything over there, and likewise Terror is also scouting the map for some proxies as well. He doesn't want to get tricked by any sort of proxies around the map. In last game, he was tricked. So hopefully, he'll be able to read it correctly, and nothing crazy coming out of Tech. All right, getting that turret up. So any sort of DT aggression is going to be thwarted here. It is going to slow down his push just by a little bit. Sometimes Terrans like to be greedy with their pushes, but I think TerrOr is feeling good at this point so that there's not going to be any sort of DTs coming out. And Tech, I like his build. I like he's going 3-gate ob. I think he anticipates maybe a push coming out of TerrOr. He was a little bit behind. And because of all of these turrets, it looks like Tech actually might have to... I'm sorry, TerrOr might have to forego that push. I don't think he's going to have a timing. We don't even quite see the armory yet. So I'm not sure exactly what the direction is if TerrOr wants to play for a longer... But looks like he is going to actually go for the 3-tank push. I was wrong here. I guess he was a little bit worried, so he was getting a little bit more of that. Is that you, Naokin? Are you back?
Yeah, sorry, I dropped for a second.
No, you're good. Okay, well, I don't know if you're still watching, but TerrOr dealt with the push really well with a couple of zealots, and looks like he's going to go with a 3-tank push. A little bit delayed because he was worried he got a very fast turret this time, but actually, I don't know. I guess he's not going with the 3-tank push because it's a little late. Maybe he's just using the vultures to kind of get some map control. I actually don't know.
Yeah, I think he's just going to be getting control. I'm looking at the game timer at 7 minutes. I mean, you're pushing it around 6 minutes, maybe 6:15 at the latest. So probably feeling like he can't get much done if Tech built goons. So I like this play. It also gives him, vision on the map. He somehow missed that probe at bottom left though. So unbeknownst to him, that is going to be a third base up and running, or being built in just a second.
Yeah, and now we have the armory coming out. So I guess I was a little bit confused because I thought with the late armory, he would for sure go for a push. But actually Tech with the shuttle and 4 zealots, I wonder if he's going to actually try for a bit of a bust here. I mean, he did go 3-gate ob as an opener, and he has a lot of units, no third base yet. And so I'm not sure if we can find much success against 4 tanks here, but maybe he's going to try to put a little bit of pressure onto TerrOr. But I would love to start seeing a 3-base come out now.
Well, this is how NbA won yesterday. He caught TerrOr too far forward with his tanks, with no, bunker, no turret support. So I think that's Tech trying to make the same move. He's waiting to see if TerrOr will move forward like that right there. You can see that it's only vultures. But yesterday on Sylphid, TerrOr literally just put 5 tanks out of range of his bunker and he got instantly punished. So we'll see if he has learned his lesson or if he will continue with a little bit of a forward position. We see that actually everything looks pretty normal from TerrOr. He's got armory. He's got 4 facts coming down. I'm guessing that's because of the damage he took in the early stages of the game. Or he may be looking to push with this Mihu-esque.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it does look like that Mihu build where you bank up to like 10 tanks or something, because he is putting down 4 factories and he's banking up a lot more tanks. I don't know if the +1 is going to finish in time. Maybe that's the timing that he's kind of going for here. But that's what it seems like. I don't see a command center. I don't think I saw like a starport. So perhaps he's just going in for some sort of strong 2-base push. Not quite like a 5 or 6 factory. It's really interesting to see these like cool 4 factories.
Well, that scan showed that there's no gas at the natural, and that can really only mean one thing. It's either Reaver or it's Gateway Man. Obviously it can't be carriers, can't be arbiters, because you need gas for that. So if he does try and push, he's got to be careful. His +1 weapon should be kicking in within the next 30 seconds or so. So this will be a strong timing if he opts for it. However, he's decided that he is just going to transition into normal upgrades. It's the second armory coming down. Got science facility coming down. And this 4 fact, I think after scanning the NAT and seeing no gas, he's just going to transition this into a third base.
Yeah, I guess that's a really good scout there, because I'm trying to follow TerrOr's build. From the beginning, I was like, okay, this looks like a 3-tank. Okay, he's going eBay. Okay, he's not going out this 3-tank push. Okay, he's going maybe for a 10-tank push. I'm like, and then now he's going double armory. Now he's going into CC. So if I'm confused about his build, I bet you Tech is also confused. So, but I like that he's not going to force the issue. Going to be a lot of gateway units, which is going to be the worst case scenario. I mean, that's like 24 goons here. So that's going to be really dangerous for TerrOr to push into. I mean, he also noticed that there was a third, but it wasn't saturated. So there's no reason for him to be actually pushing against him. And I think TerrOr was intending on being aggressive, but he's a high-skilled player. He's making decisions on the fly, and he decided against it. So I like what he's doing.
Yeah, this is the nightmare scenario for Tech, I think, because this is exactly what I said you don't want to have happen versus TerrOr. Is you're all in gateway man, and now you see TerrOr playing defensively.
Yeah.
You have no high tech to rely on. There's not going to be arbiters forever. There's not going to be carriers. Now you're stuck with the only option you can go for, which is Storm. But he just started his Nat Gas. I mean, he's not even going to have that much Storm available. I see he's gone double Forge too. So that gas is going to go into upgrades. But I mean, 1-1's good. But really, 2-1 is what you're looking for as Protoss if you want to go toe-to-toe without any AoE. So Tech is in big-time trouble. I would say he's kind of obligated to make like a bust right now work, because once 2-1 kicks in and once the factory count kicks in, I don't think he can really contest TerrOr's macro.
That is what he's going to do. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work. It's going to really depend on just, the positioning here, but I think TerrOr knows exactly what's going on, and I don't think we're gonna have success because we're in great position here. I mean, we've got a shuttle coming in, but I think the shuttle's gonna die before it completely. Okay.
Oh no.
We gotta back.
Do you see how many tanks that is?
That's a lot of tanks, man. I mean, he's been pumping all that from two very hard-working factories, very faithful factories. They don't skip a beat. And man, like TerrOr, I mean, Tech has to make like 2 bases or something right now, because we don't want to be on 3 bases in this situation when TerrOr hits 2-1. I think TerrOr's probably getting his gateway count up. I think our goon count is a little bit too high relative to the zealots that we want. And honestly, if TerrOr just takes a 4th base and waits for 3-2 and just keeps denying bases around the map, I think Tech is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Tech is... Unless there's a bad engagement from TerrOr, Tech is in big-time trouble. Tech just now taking his 4th base, and TerrOr insta-scans the archive timing. So he knows, hey, you don't have Storm, you don't have Arbiters, what do you actually have? And he knows that the answer is just Gateway Man versus 2-1, which is about to complete. So TerrOr, all he has to do is focus on his control of units, make sure he's not over top of a mine and the Zealot doesn't bomb and kill like a million tanks. And I think this is just his game to take. I'm trying to think of scenarios or moves Tech could do to come back. Maybe go for a counterattack when TerrOr starts moving, but that's like really the only thing that's coming to mind.
Yeah, I think the only miracle is if Tech just wins and dominates in a big battle, resets the entire tank count. I mean, it's still possible if it's TVP. I don't think TerrOr is going to make that kind of mistake here, but it is possible because we do have a lot of gateway units at least. And if you get caught with your pants down, man, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A can do a lot of damage. So that's what Tech is going to bank on. He's got to wait for the right position. TerrOr is moving out, so I want him to start getting into that arc. He's kind of in there. I want him to be a little bit more active. Hopefully you take the fight a little bit on, TerrOr's side of the map. Okay, it looks like we're trying to force a bit of a counterattack. Oh, we're getting hit by a big mine there. That's not good.
Well, here we go.
It looks like we actually might go in for the attack.
Yeah, this is the big engagement. The siege is late. The tanks are forward. Oh, this is a very late siege. Not sieging the majority of his tanks initially. Now he's going to siege. Zealots get on top of a lot of them. This is pretty much as good of an engagement as you're going to get as Tech. He's killed almost all of the vultures. All of the tanks are isolated. There's a decent amount of goons here. He needs like one more round of zealots and he could have wiped it, but it just looks like there's barely too much for TerrOr, and GG comes out from Tech.
Yeah, that was actually probably one of the best scenarios that he could have asked for. I mean, man, I think that there was a few zealots that kind of went off to the right side. Maybe if those zealots actually just got on top of the tanks, a few zealots on top of tanks can make a big difference, because zealots honestly have some of like the greatest DPS in the game if they're just right next to you and just attacking. And especially if there's splash damage onto the zealots, that could have gone really poorly for TerrOr. But I like Tech. That attack was beautiful. The arc was beautiful. It's just, you know, in that situation, you can't really do too much. But well played from TerrOr. I mean, man, he was shifting directions all game, and Tech got confused and just completely juked him out.
Yeah, and like you said, I think that was about as good as it could go for Tech. So it was well done there, but it's like I said, you just can't beat 2-1 with Gateway, man. You just can't. You can't.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. So now it's going to be back to Tech's pick. We've gotten through Sylphid and Gladiator. I'm thinking, okay, what map do I want to play as Protoss? We have Butter. We still have Overwatch. Tech doesn't strike me as a carrier player, so I don't think we're going to see Overwatch, but Butter could be a good pick.
Yeah, how do you like Butter for TVP?
I've only played it a few times, but I feel like this is going to be the new Eclipse, and I'm perfectly fine with Eclipse. I think Eclipse is an okay map. Butter has the same kind of intricacy where your third base is kind of far away. Like when you go to set up for it, you've got to put your tanks and stuff pretty far forward. You got to have like a floating racks and, you know, mines everywhere if you actually want to get it. Like it is similar to Eclipse in that regard. I think if you like Eclipse, you could go for Butter, and instead he's going to go for Vermeer. So he must like Polyvoid, because I think this is going to be the new Polyvoid once it hits the ladder. Players are ready. Let's get into game 3. Find out who's going to be moving on in the losers bracket. All right, in the top left, evening up the score 1-1, it is TerrOr.
And in the bottom right, we have Tech as our blue Protoss. We got cross positions, man. I hope Tech goes for a 12 Nexus here. That'll be really cool.
You want 12 Nexus? Of course you would,
Yeah.
because you're Protoss. I don't want 12 Nexus.
It's the best scenario, because then TerrOr next to go first scout and then end scout, right? And then they'll scout the last scout, you know, and then run into a 12 Nexus. That's literally the most feels bad moment in the world.
Well, are you a 12 Nexus player? Is that a build you like to do?
Sometimes. I used to do it a little bit more often, but these days I just don't. I feel like the variance is a lot higher. You know, Terrans love to go cheese rush you, and it's really hard to stop it. It's really micro dependent. Micro is not really my strong suit, so I feel comfortable just playing regular opener.
Well, I find 12 Nexus to be just a nightmare to deal with. There's so many variations of it. You can cut really hard. You can, you know, just power on one gate if you're in a scenario like this where you get scouted last. And then what do you do as Terran? By the time you scout them, you've kind of already made a decision on, like, you may even have a bunker. You may have cut Marines. If you've cut Marines, well, you can't push anymore for sure. We'll see what TerrOr wants to do. I'm trying to think back to previous games. Did he ever go for a late scout? No, and that's what we're seeing right here. It is going to be a normal scout. Now, we did see TerrOr do some kind of hybrid builds. Actually, if you... Sylphid, what we just saw, he did a hybrid gas timing. Like, he mined on one gas for a long time while he was getting pressured with a Zealot. So, he may just put one on gas here and go into a fast CC if he sees the 12 Nexus. Well, we don't see a 12 Nexus, but I'm just saying, if he had seen it, he may have done something like that.
Yeah. It looks like we're going to see a core scout here, 3 probes on gas. Actually pretty important, because a lot of the meta these days, and the builds that I kind of toy with a lot, is I actually put like 1 probe on the gas, and as my probes come out, I'll put, you know, a little bit more and a little bit more to 3. Because a lot of builds actually skip goon range. Because if you really think about it, if you're not pressuring an expanding Terran anyways, right, what are you doing with goon range? You can actually get a Robo, a faster Nexus. It's going to be weaker versus like a 2-factory type build, which obviously might not be super smart against a guy like TerrOr. But I really like those kinds of plays where you actually optimize more for the minerals and get a little bit later gas. And you can actually just show Terran, especially if they scout you late like this, that you're mining from 3, but if they see you mining from like 1 or 2 really early, they can tell that you're going to skip go range. So kind of a interesting nuance there. It doesn't seem like Tech likes to go for these range skipping builds, but looks like we do have TerrOr gonna take that CC immediately, and it looks like a like one of those middle builds, right? Like a gas into scouting into CC, then packer.
Yeah, this is pretty much the only foreigner that I have seen do this. It is going to be the fast CC, a 315 factory coming down. I experimented with something like this before I went to Korea. I was going like no gas, like command center, or no gas, like 18 gas, and then command center. Problem with that is Protoss scouts you and they know you're going gasless, right? Like they know,
Yeah.
like they just know that it's going to be command center. Whereas if you do something like this, probe gets pushed out, then all of a sudden you don't know if it's a factory or a command center or what it is. So this is a cool play from TerrOr. I also like how he has 4 Marines, and now we're in the mind games, because when Protoss sees 4 Marines this fast, they may be thinking it's an FD. Because if you look at what the goon saw, he didn't see that there was a command center here actually.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, usually the 4 Marines does kind of signal that. It does freak Protoss out a little bit, so maybe Tech is going to put up some extra gateways. I don't know if he's going to go 3 gateways from here, but it could be possible that there is a push. I mean, we are seeing a couple of factors behind this as well, so this also could be a 3-tank push from TerrOr.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the 3-tank push with Marine support. He's got his second fact coming in. If he wants to go for the 3-tank push, he may need to go for double add-on. Otherwise, this is going to put him at kind of like a 6:30 move-out timing, which is kind of slowish, actually. And obviously, when you're doing a timing, every second matters. We do see that Tech put down something like a 420 robo, so it's pretty standard going into a second gate. And I think he put down either observatory or support bay in his main. Yep, right there. Okay,
Sure.
observer.
Yeah, it looks pretty standard from Tech. I mean, I'm not loving the 3-tank push just because it is cross positions. Going to be a little bit slower versus, you know, going 3-tank push off of a rack span. But his control is really good. I don't have any doubt in my mind that he can make it work. But I think TerrOr should be adequately prepared for this. I mean, although it doesn't seem like that machine shop was actually upgrading, but it should be. And Tech has to be careful, because if he moves all of his goons forward, sometimes the vultures can actually just fly on right by. So it's a little bit of a gamble kind of putting your goons up there. So usually at this point I start to move them back, but you can also just catch anything coming out and get some free hits. So let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, and behind this we've got Tech, third Nexus going down at 550. So this is a somewhat greedy opener, but he's going to put down additional gateways to make up for it. He's got 4-gate observer. We'll see if he can. Well, I mean, you better be able to hold a push if you go 4-gate observer. I mean, what more do you need at that point to hold a 2-fact? But we do see TerrOr. He is transitioning into siege mode. He's going academy. He's going for a more normal armory timing at 6:15 armory. So we've got like a 13-minute 2-1 timing potentially.
Yeah, and yeah, I like the opener for Tech. I mean, this is kind of like a very vanilla build, right? You get the fast third. It is greedy, but you compensate for the 4-gate, and then once the observer comes in and you scout that there isn't a 4-factory push, then you can actually go ahead and cancel some of your goons, and from here you can actually take a 4th base, because we don't have any sort of aggression, although there are going to be some speed vultures flying around the map. So I would actually, I would have really want him to put those goons back now, because now we are going to have a hard time defending against this aggression with mines. We don't quite have observers, so this is going to get really dangerous for Tech. We don't want to run into those mines there. Oh, he's going to dodge that one, but there's another one coming in. He's going to kill one of those, but he's just moving forward. Oh, what a... wow. That doesn't happen to me.
Wow.
That was a nice little...
I can tell you that always happens to me. They just move those goons, and those mines never connect. I was gonna ask you, what are you looking for with that observer? But you kind of nailed it on the head. You don't see any factories flood. You saw the academy. You saw the armory. You're talking about how you would put down a 4th nexus. I think that could be a good move now that Tech has pushed back the 4 or the 2 vultures that were on the map. We see TerrOr ramping up into 4 factories now. This is again looking similar to the Sylphid game, where this is going to be a defensive 4-fact with a 3rd command center.
Yeah, and I think I like the aggression already, because usually Terrans are not, putting mines around the map this early, and I think it makes Protoss a little bit nervous, because if he wasn't doing this, you could definitely take a 4th base and you can cut all of your goons, right? But if you're facing, you know, 2 factory with fully upgraded vultures everywhere, then you might be a little bit more nervous. You might continue making some of those goons, and then you might start like, you know, being a little bit scared. And I think TerrOr is going to be in a wonderful position here just because he can get that 3rd base. He's forced a lot of units out of tech, and his supply looks really high. But that's kind of deceiving because you don't want to be making this many units right now. Oh, I guess we're going in for... Okay, I'm actually, you know, I didn't even see a robotics. Okay, so this is going to be a bust build. We have to be careful because there's so many mines around the map, but let's see if tech can actually make something work. 3-base bust build.
Yeah, I was wondering why TerrOr was going into 5 facts because he doesn't have a starport. And remember, his armory was at 615 or so, so his +1's about to kick in, actually. So if you don't have a starport, how are you going to get +2? I guess he's just going to go for a 1-1 timing because I still don't see a starport anywhere. He has landed his 3rd command center. I think that's the starport right now, but it's really late. It could actually be factories. No, it is starport. I actually thought we might see like a 9-fact 1-1 timing because +1 should be kicking in like within the next 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, so really interesting that tech actually is mining from 3 gas here. There's a really sick timing you can do on 3 bases with Protoss where you actually skip both gases and the forge, go into 8 gateways with shuttles to bust something like this. Because if you do something like that, you know, Terran shouldn't be able to take a 3rd this fast. I mean, TerrOr got away with a lot here, but wonder what we're gonna do with all that gas. If this is gonna be some sort of carrier switch of some sort, or I guess we might go into a lot of High Templars, but it looks like we're actually just going into 4 bases. So I was expecting this would be a push because usually if you make that many units in the mid game, you're kind of investing in a sooner push, right? But he kind of made units. Maybe he got a little bit scared from those speed vultures, so he overmade all these kind of boons, and now we're going into a 4 base here. I guess we have speed shuttles, so I wonder if we're going to shuttle bomb the main base. But yeah, I mean, what are you thinking if you're TerrOr here? I'd say I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, every time I'm scanning, I'm looking for Stargate timing. If I don't see it, I'm feeling great. I guess he intercepted the shuttles with the scan somehow. They have gone unseen, though, and they are going to get straight into the main. But I don't think there are actually Reavers. Oh my god, one of the shuttles already died, and there is a Reaver that unloads. The shuttle or the Scarab is going to... What? Oh my gosh, it kills 1 SCV, that's it!
Oh, okay. Yeah. Alright, I thought it was going to kill way more than that one, but unfortunately, that did not go as Tech wanted to. I mean, that was the play that could have got him back into the game, I think. But now I think we're going to be relying on all these High Templars. And I think when you play this style, you have to, like, over-make High Templar. And I can see now why he's invested so much into that gas. Just because you don't want to make only 4 High Templar. You actually want to make... You always want to have 8 High Templar just pumping at all time. Just because once they're kind of like your bullets, right? Like once the first round of High Templar go out from your first shuttle, you gotta have the next one ready. And when your next one's ready, you gotta have 4 more. So you kind of have to just have High Templars nonstop, and that's exactly what Tech is doing. So it's really gonna come down to how well he can actually, thwart TerrOr's push. And you also have to protect those High Templars as well, make sure that they don't get sniped by kind of some vultures around. But looks like, man, they got a huge explosion from TerrOr factory counts, and yeah, looks like Tech also just wants to play a long game too. He has a base at the bottom left.
I'm liking this game much better for Tech. He's got the Templars, he's got the double forge, he's got the shuttles, he's got multiple shuttles, and they can be annoying if you're ever not looking for a second. Your entire mineral line could be erased. But I like how TerrOr has tons of tanks set up. Ooh, he finds the Templars, and he's going to pick them off, but he does lose a decent chunk of vultures. Here's that harassment I was talking about. There are Templars mixed in. Oh, shuttle gets into the main, but is there anything actually in it?
I don't know. I mean, that storm drop actually didn't do anything. I thought that he had 4 High Templar in a shuttle, but maybe I saw, maybe it's in a different shuttle somewhere, but I hope that we didn't lose the shuttle with more High Templar because we only saw one drop and we didn't get any SCB kills. So we really needed to slow down the Terran there, but Terran's just going to move right on. He's probably got 3-2 on the way. And it's going to get really scary because the problem with this kind of shuttle, man, is unless your storms are God mode, this can get really ugly really fast without arbiters.
Yeah, I think if you have both, that's what you want to get. You don't want to be just stuck with Templars. Like, shuttles are great, but they could easily get focused down by Goliath. Now, speaking of getting focused down, those vultures just heat-seekered those Templars. They got instantly killed. We've got Max for tech, but he doesn't have much powerful AoE anymore because the vultures just eliminated that threat in an instant. Meanwhile, Loop Boy, aka TerrOr, he's about to max out, and he has 2-1 kicking in. He's got a Vessel too, and you know he's probably got EMP ready to land on top of an unloaded Templar the moment he sees it.
Yeah, and the thing that concerns me the most here is Tech doesn't actually have any map. TerrOr's got mines all on that upper half of the map. Tech hasn't cleared those out, so his movement's going to be very limited to his side of the map, and that's really not what you want. TVP is oftentimes a game of just map control, right? And TerrOr's gaining ground for free right now. So I guess Tech is going to try to hold all the way on his side of the map, which, you know, I like that he's being patient, but it's going to be hard because you do want to have some time to remax and then fight again before the Terran comes to your base. But if they're already so close to you, it's going to be really hard. And it looks like TerrOr actually wants to come to the bottom left side.
Yeah, well, I'm happy that Tech backed off because that was definitely not the angle you want to engage into a choke, and Terran has some high ground. I don't know about this angle either yet. Tech needs to continue to run away, at least force TerrOr to get into the center of the map, like in an open field maybe. Oh, we don't want to bleed off any goons, that's for sure. Both players have a big bank, both players have a maxed out army, but I think Terran's is a little bit stronger. He's slowly creeping forward, he's slowly sieging, and Tech is just backing and backing and backing, but all of a sudden he's right up against his natural. He's got to make a move at some point. He's decided he's going to go for a counter.
Oh, but it's got mines up there, and this is going to be really ugly because those mines are going to slow him down, and there's nothing to actually stop him. I mean, he might be able to take out that third base, but I can guarantee you Terran is just going to turtle back at home and discount. Oh, it looks like we actually might force Terran to turn around here, but for sure TerrOr is going to be able to hold or take down the natural like that.
Yeah, the problem for Tech is, like, I like the counterattack, but it was too late because, as you stated, the Nat's gone. Third base should fall too, but Tech's got a lot of bases, and those are amazing storms! Look at how many SCVs were there! I thought TerrOr's supply was going to fall farther than it did, but we've got basically even supply. TerrOr moving in from the backside, but Tech, I think the problem is he can't reinforce. If he could reinforce, I think he could win the fight, but he's not able to, and that third base is going to die also.
Yeah, what a great move from Tech. I mean, he's got to... I think he should be able to clear up the units outside of his natural, but it looks like he might actually lose that third base as well. And fourth base, that's going to be too brutal. That's going to be too much damage. So he had a great counterattack, killed so many SCVs, also caught a lot of tanks and vultures kind of with their pants down. So this would have been a really good attack, but I'm not sure. I think that's just too much damage. I almost feel like he lost, I don't know, half of his probes. So it's going to be really hard for him to come back, but he could start pumping a lot of probes here from all of his 4 nexus back.
4 nexus? He's about to lose bottom middle too. He only really has 3 nexus. His main's mined out. He was on 5 base mining. Now he's on literally maybe 1.5 base mining right now, technically. Probe saved the day at bottom middle, but the nexus still dies. It's a 30 supply lead now for TerrOr. He did lose his third base, but he has that 4th base up at top middle. He just needs to transfer workers.
Yeah, this is going to be rough. I mean, the problem in TVP in general is that as the game goes on, Terran gets stronger and stronger unless Protoss is kind of slowing the Terran throughout. And I wouldn't say... I think the counter was a good move because he would have lost in an head-to-head battle. He didn't have enough storms there. but I just don't think this was enough damage. TerrOr is going to push out. I think this is a little bit risky, but Tech is out of position here, so I think this might actually, I don't know. Those tanks are up there. There's no Ultra Support with the High Templar coming in here.
Yeah, this is a moment, or this is the moment that Tech's looking for, isolated tanks, but it's just still not enough Protoss. The Storms are fantastic. Actually, there's multiple Storms available on those Templars, but not able to get the killing blow on those tanks. They're so bruised up. Unlucky for Tech, and that's another Nexus that's going to fall, and also a ton of probes that are going to fall.
Yeah, that's going to be brutal. I mean, man, if he actually sent that DT4, he'd probably snipe a few of those tanks, but I don't think it really matters. I think there's just too many mines. We're taking so much damage here, and I think this might be it. I mean, TerrOr's taking out that base, has a good position, probably, you know, reinforcing it, and also taking this third base again, and oh, the Vulture's going to come in. This is going to be a last of his economy here. This is going to hurt so much for him.
Yeah, this is it. This is going to be the GG. I think we may see Tech go for a counterattack or just try and save this base, but he has nothing left. He's literally not mining. He has no Nexus at his nat. He has no Nexus at his third, not at the fourth, and all the probes getting wiped out at bottom left. Meanwhile, TerrOr streamlining more units across the map, and unfortunately, a 100 supply lead is just, it's too much to overcome, and Tech, he is going to lose this game. This is the last-ditch effort for him. He's going to counterattack, but it's just simply not enough.
Yeah, this is really well played by TerrOr. I mean, he had a great push. You can really see TerrOr's skill coming in, because I think a lower level Terran probably would just panic and come back home and maybe take out one base, but when TerrOr came back to save his bases, and although he lost one of them, he took out 3 Protoss bases while he was at it. 3 of them. So even if, you know, maybe Tech loses 2 bases but holds some probes, maybe we kind of come back there. But TerrOr, man, that's a GG from Tech. Really well played from both players. I love the mind games coming out of both players in games 1 and 2, and just a solid game 3. TerrOr just showing why he's a former champion. Tech playing a really solid game there too. I'm really impressed by both of them.
Yeah, it was really nicely done from TerrOr, and he moves on, and he's going to be in the semifinals now of the losers bracket, which means he's going to be facing the Zerg superstar Jiren. Jiren's going to have a tough time though, because when you think of the best player in South America, it's either TerrOr or Dandy, and TerrOr, he's just so strong these days, and in TerrOr versus Zerg, he's even more hard to read. Like he can pull out literally everything.
Yeah, that guy has all the weapons in the world, and I think he has the most fun with TVC. I mean, I think the guy just has a lot of fun with all the matchups. He's such an exciting player with so many weapons, and he loves experimenting with them. And he's also a good player too. Like he's been playing for forever. He has so much experience. He knows how to make these weird builds work too. You know, it's not just kind of like donkey play. It's got good micro to back it up as well. So excited to see that matchup. But next, I believe we do have NbA versus Dandy, right?
Yeah, it is going to be a TVP in the upper bracket finals. We're going to go into a break, and then we'll be coming back with that series. We are back, guys. We saw TerrOr take down Tech, and that sets us up for a TVC in the losers bracket. But before we get into that, we're going into another TVP. This time around, it's going to be Dandy versus NbA. Dandy crushing through Zedi, crushing through Gosudark, and NbA surprisingly crushing through his top side of the bracket. Crushed TerrOr, took down Tech too. We did have a wild game on Gladiator. If you haven't seen that, you should definitely check the VOD out because that's one of the best PvPs I've seen. But this series is going to be interesting because NbA is very strong when I play him on the ladder. He's got good macro. And Dandy, even though he's got a high MMR, I think NbA can definitely bring it to Dandy here.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, Dandy has just always been one of the top 2 South Americans and also just one of the top players in the foreign scene. So he's gonna be favored here. But yeah, I've been playing some games with NbA. He's a really solid player. I think he actually has some weapons too. I think he likes to play a good solid macro game, but he's got some weapons. He's been practicing some cool like one base plays and stuff. So I actually wonder if he's gonna pull some of that out. I wonder if he was actually practicing that in our practice games. But yeah, I think he's got a shot. I mean, it's gonna be tough, but I think he's got a shot.
Yeah, we see the stats here. Dandy, round of 16, round of 8 player, but that's just from the recent seasons of Pro League. He's a BSL champion, I think back in BSL 5. So he is definitely dominating Terran. Meanwhile, you can see NbA, kind of a newcomer to Pro League. BSL Season 13, that was his first appearance. Pretty consistent in Gosu League, round of 9th, or round of 8 or 16. I'm not sure exactly what 9 to 12 is. But I've played NbA recently on the ladder, and as I was playing, I was like, man, this macro is pretty darn good. Dandy, I mean, he's amazing PvP. When you think of top tier Terrans in the foreign scene, it goes like this. TerrOr, and then it's Dandy or the Big Jip, really, as second place or even first place. So it is going to be an uphill battle for NbA. I'm wondering what map pick is going to be, because we already saw Gladiator get through in the TerrOr versus Tech series, and no surprise that it did not get through this time. It's going to be banned out, at least for the initial map. Sylphid was the choice, so let's get into game 1 between these two players. Okay, in the top middle, it is Dandy.
And in the bottom left, we have NbA. It's a red Protoss.
All right, well, you were telling me that you thought NbA was messing around with some one-base builds. What are some one-base builds that you think are strong for Protoss versus Terran other than DT? Because everybody knows DT is a strong one-base build.
Yeah, I think it's kind of it's probably nuanced in the sense, and I'm pretty sure NbA also kind of like has, a one base build planned contingent on how the scouting pattern, right? Because sometimes the you can kind of poke the SCV away if it comes in a little bit late. Now on a 3-player map, I don't think that's really going to be the case, but at the same time, if the SCV can't quite confirm that a Nexus is ever put down, if like it gets caught by a goon or something, you could actually go for something crazy like a one-base shuttle, and it could put a lot of pressure if Danny has like a couple of tanks and you kind of go for this old school bulldog and you don't really expect it, and you assume that your opponent's just going into natural expansion. And it could get very deadly very fast, so I wonder if NbA is going to pull out something like that. So one of the games that I actually played with him a few days ago, he actually played normal on Sylphin. He liked to just go for a bus timing, late game, carrier switch type play. So it's pretty standard, solid play from NbA.
Yeah, it's also my experience versus him, is it seemed to just be pretty standard. One thing that I did notice is he is probe man. He will consistently build probes upwards of almost 100 the longer the game goes. So actually a win condition for Dandy could be to just survive and simply have a stronger army going into late game just because of how many probes NbA has. So NbA does need to be careful to not over probe. I was actually expecting to see Dandy go gasless because this is Dandy is one of the few players that still go gasless these days consistently, but not the case this time around. It is going to be a 12 gas, and that's going to be a 230-ish factory, so everything pretty normal. Meanwhile, Zealot coming out from NbA, so we're going to be putting on some pressure.
Yeah, and the really key thing here is that the Zealot's going to come out before Dandy actually sees it, and when the SCV gets into the base, sometimes it's hard to tell whether or not they actually made the Zealot first, and you can kind of see NbA taking a funny path. And the reason for that is sometimes you can catch Terrans, getting a little bit greedy without the bunker out front. But it looks like Dandy is going to make that bunker because he hasn't scouted, and Dandy's just a super solid player, so I don't think that he'll skimp out on that. But again, at this point, Dandy doesn't know, and he only has 2 Marines there. Now, is NbA going to try to walk by this? Let's see. But we do have a Goon on the way as well.
Yep, Zealot has not shown itself just yet. Good bunker timing. No 3rd Marine, no Vulture. SCV, I thought it was going to actually push out and see if there was a Zealot there, but oh, now he pushes out. And why does the Zealot move away from the probe? I have no idea, but that was genius move from NbA because Dandy does not suspect that there's actually a Zealot here at all. So this could be not necessarily a bust on the bunker, but this could be a run by that catches him off guard. Now the SCV sees it.
Yeah, so it looks like this is a nice play. NbA does like to do this. Now, the thing is, Dandy didn't go greedy and make the CC super fast. So I think he's going to be fine here. And oh, it looks like the SCV is going to try to get inside the base. Let's see if he can actually deny it, but it's going to slip through. And he's going to see everything that he needs to see. And this is so crucial because Protoss can do so many things, right? Like they could go for the Nexus, and we saw Tech going DT after the Nexus, right? And so this just gives... Oh, wait, we actually have a Citadel over there. He doesn't see it. Holy crap, that's going to be the ultimate mind game. I love this coming in.
Yeah.
Now,
go ahead.
It might be a little late though, right? If there's any sort of eBay Armory type opener, I'm not sure that it's quite get there, but let's see what we can do.
I'm kind of on the fence with the Citadel, and the reason I say that is because Dandy got a full scout out. And if you noticed, when the SCV got to the bottom of the base, there was a probe there that was going to be in position to build something, and it decided to continue to mine minerals. It went back to mine minerals. Now, as a Terran player, I see there's no Robo at 430. I would be thinking, okay, this guy wanted to go Citadel. I got in his base and scouted, and he canceled it. So I would not be expecting this Citadel at all. But because of how late it is, and if Dandy's thinking along the same lines as me, he may think like, okay, I bet you canceled that Citadel, now you're playing normal. And now this mega delayed DT might actually work.
Yeah, and he is getting the Robo, so it's going to be a DT drop, which could be really deadly, actually. But it looks like Dandy is actually going to move out here with 3 tanks, and so this could get a little bit dicey because, NbA was focusing on making the DTs. And I don't know that we have enough goons here to stop this, but there's so many units. So the DT could come out in time to block it, but I don't think we've really done too much to delay the push. Nice little pickoffs there. Great micro from NbA so far, but we are pushing in here, and it's getting a little bit dicey, and I think we might also have mines, which might put the nail in the coffin here because we don't have any sort of protection.
Oh, and NbA didn't transfer any of his probes. So I would say luckily he only loses 1 there. This could have been devastating. Dandy easily could have focus fired a lot of them down. Now Dandy has to be wondering, okay, why do you have a battery? Okay, now he knows there's a DT, so he is going to have to back up. But if he hadn't seen that DT and somehow NbA had managed to hold it off, he may have thought like, okay, well maybe this guy went carriers, because like you shouldn't necessarily need a battery to hold this push. We can see, like I said, Dandy definitely thought that there was no way this was going to be DTs. You see his eBay basically just started.
Yeah, and we do have speed out on the map as well, so this is going to be really hard to do anything with the DT. So we do have a DT drop coming in, but still, I think the turrets are going to be out in time.
Well, yeah, at the natural for sure. I guess, okay, yeah, Danny's on top of it. He knows that it's likely you've got a Robo also, so he builds a turret in his main. I like how he's going to probably float that eBay over his turret.
Oh.
No, actually he's not, but he's got a Vulture run by into the natural again. NbA was out of position because he's worried about those mines, and he loses almost his entire mineral line.
And the Vultures get away, at least a couple of them too, so that is just catastrophic damage. And we forced the Pro Pull. He lost a few, and he's gonna lose a Goon?
Oh.
Okay, at least we saved the game. But DTs are in the base now, and it's just a matter of time until that combat fixes. So, at best, this is just a nuisance for Dandy, but Dandy's on his way to just continuing his macro and probably cruising on to a victory. I mean, he is so starved. We don't have a whole lot of outs here. I don't know if he's going to go for some sort of crazy super fast Arthur play, but looks like those DTs are going to clean up.
Ooh, I thought that might be able to hide. I'm wondering what happened to the shuttle, because I don't see it anywhere. Maybe it got killed by that turret. Maybe he wasn't paying attention, but both the DTs get eliminated, and NbA, he is setting up to take his third base. Meanwhile, I don't see like any big buildings going down for him, so it's not like a fast Stargate follow-up. It's not like there's a Gateway Flood follow-up. And if Dandy uses his secondary scan and sees that there's nothing like that going on, he may opt for like even a 3 or 4 fact push in just a second.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what he's going to do. It's a little bit risky just because you're on so many like limited scans, but once you get like a turret crawl, then you can probably make it work. But even if Dandy just goes for a late third base, he's probably fine. But it looks like he's adding more factories, so I think he's actually just looking to end it right here.
Yeah, I didn't realize he already had 4 done, and he's putting a 5th, or he's about to have a 5th done. His +1 weapon is close to finish, maybe about 60%, so we're looking at maybe a 10-30 completed +1. And Dandy, he doesn't care about +1. He's just going to start moving out on the map right now. I think that's a good choice because he should have double scan available, and we only see a single DT, and there's only 3 gates.
Yeah, not even a shuttle. I'm pretty sure he's making the shuttle, but we're going to need at least 6 gates like ASAP. But he's moving out now, so it's really going to come down to the micro. The DT is up there, so you got to use it a little bit strategically. He's swiping down one of those tanks, which looks pretty good, and this is a pretty nice engage because he kind of caught him out of position, got 3 free tanks. Great engage by NbA. He's now down to 4 tanks and forced the siege mode, so great attack there, and it's really impressive by NbA to pick that battle.
Yeah, that was an impeccable hold from NbA. He needed that. He's now got a supply lead, and I like how he's built a couple more DTs because that mine was so close to his tanks. If there was another DT out there, he would have blown up all 4 of them for sure. Dandy eliminated that mine to make sure that doesn't happen, but the observer's sitting directly over top of the army. He sees that, I mean, it's kind of isolated, really. He's probably going to kill a tank for at least, probably kill potentially a couple tanks here with these 2 DTs.
Oh, nice
bait.
skin there. Yeah, so that could have done a lot of damage, but it looks like Dandy is going to move forward. Might get a tank picked off.
I think Dandy's overextended here. It's not that many tanks. When Protoss sees it's only 5 tanks and not that many vultures, I mean, what are you really scared of? I realize the tanks are still going to get a decent amount of kills, but you can't build like 6 tanks right out of your factories. You got to have the add-ons, and you know Terran generally stays on 2 or 3 add-ons. So that was another good trade for NbA. Remember, he's got his third base; it's up and running.
Yeah, and does Danny have a third base? I mean,
no.
If we get legs on the way, this could start getting very ugly. And NbA finally takes the worker count with his third base, and honestly, NbA is just taking some really good battles. Okay, now we see that third command center. Not sure if we have like a starport science facility to kind of get as well into the lake. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we might just be committed to this push. I mean, we're hedging with that third factory there, but I can really see NbA holding this and winning this if he just really fights well. But it looks like Dandy might slowly push in, which could get very difficult for NbA to deal with.
Yeah, I think Dandy can just kind of sit back and transition into a 3rd and 4th base. I don't like this. Honestly, I really don't. I think if Dandy loses this army, it's going to be too hard for him to keep the pace with NbA because NbA's got his Stargate done. He's going to go into Arbiters pretty soon. Meanwhile, Starport hasn't started, so this is just going to be 1-1 Terran on 6 fact. It's not an overwhelming.
He's actually gonna go up there. Okay, but Danny's actually moving south. Beautiful play, because I liked what NbA wanted to do there, but it looks like Danny's gonna catch NbA out of position. So I love the movement from Danny. It's gonna be really hard if Danny gets that position, but I wonder if NbA is actually going for a counterattack here.
He might be. He knows where all the units are. He knows it's a lot of units too, and he's gonna try and catch Danny out of position just like he caught TerrOr. Okay, those tanks are way far forward and they're standing on mines. Zealot does not trigger it in time. Goon Suicide's trying to trigger it, but doesn't get the connection he wants. However, there's still just so much Protoss. SCVs are going to be pulled. There's nothing in the bunker to mess up the AI.
Yeah, so he's going to move forward and he's going to snipe some of those tanks coming in the back there. We do have another tank in the main base, and this is going to be really hard for pros. I think we have to back up just because SCVs are super strong, and we're going to lose the third base from NbA. So it looks like Danny might come out ahead from this one.
Yeah, just barely he's going to come out ahead. If there was maybe even like 2 or 3 more Zealots with this. Oh my god, that was a huge hit. Kills 3 out of the 6 goons in a single volley. And now Dandy's easily going to hold this. NbA, what can he do now? Third base is done. Third base is up for Dandy, and he's got a supply lead now. He's got a worker lead too.
Yeah, and those 2 goons also get popped. Great mines from Dandy. And it looks like NbA does have a bit of an army. He's trying to bust that base over there, or the front outside of his main. And he's going to take a third base at the top left. And let's see if he can actually do something. But I think at this point, Danny probably wants to turtle up, get to 2-1, max out, because he's just so far ahead.
Well, we've got the first Arbiter being produced for NbA. It literally just started, so it's going to be quite a while before that completes. It's like a minute 40 for an Arbiter complete, so that's a long ways away. And Dandy, he probably scanned it and realized that it just started, so he's saying, hey, I'm not even going to bother for that to complete. I'm just going to attack you right now. I know you lost a lot of your army, and this is a great move. Oh no, he found all the Zealots isolated. He can lay a minefield.
Yeah, so he's going to go in here. I wasn't loving this attack because I felt like we could have just stayed back, but it looks like Dandy is just going to end the game, and he's going to make a beautiful decision to just go from there. So, great play by Dandy. Not surprised at all because he just played so solid from start to finish. NbA, man, you know, I'm actually really impressed as well because those 2 fights, if he didn't move all the way up there and got caught out of position, he may have been able to bust out of that, and he could have been on a victory path if he just busted that 6 tank hold outside. But Danny, with a really high level play to reposition, swings down with the mine supports and forcing NbA to a counterattack. So a really good job from Danny. Oh, did we lose Naokin? Oh, you're back. You're back.
I'm still here.
Okay, you're still there.
I'm still here. But yeah, it was good positioning from Dandy, and he's going to take game 1. So we're going to be going into game 2 in just a second. It's going to be NbA's pick. You're the Protoss player here. I know you like Gladiator. I don't know if that's going to get picked, but out of the other maps, is there anything that stands out to you?
You know, as a carry, I think NbA does like going carries. I don't know if it's like his, like a 2-base carry kind of guy. So, I mean, I know Overwatch is great. I think he also likes playing the 4-player. So I could definitely see Vermeer up here, or Gladiators. It's got to be one of those 2.
All right, well, you're going with the double 4-player maps. I actually think we might see Butter. I don't really have a good reason for it. I just feel like a lot of Protoss players like Eclipse, and I think this is going to be the new Eclipse. So I actually think it's going to be Butter. But we actually have Overwatch, and you stated that NbA is a carrier player, so we may even see Overwatch too. I mean, we know Bonnet loves Overwatch. I think if he could pick any map to play, he would probably pick that one because of how strong it is. So wouldn't surprise me to see Overwatch. Oh, there it is. Oh. There's Butter. Look at that call, man. Look at that call. So yeah, let's get into... Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, maybe he just wants to go for a gas steal, kind of some aggressive play. But yeah, let's get into game number 2.
Right in the top right. Did I drop?
Nope, you're here.
I'm here in the top right, our blue Terran. It is Dandy.
All right, and in the bottom right, we got the red Protoss as Tech. And yeah, I mean, maybe we're going to see some sort of pylons. I'm sorry, not pylon, a gas tank. A lot of time, of course we're going to see some pylons. But I think that's why Protoss likes these maps, right? But if he's going to send it, he's got to send it now, right? Like right after.
Yeah, but right after pylon.
He's actually going to bring it back, so nothing kind of crazy here. So maybe he just wants to play a straight-up game on a two-player map.
That, for sure, could be the case. NbA is the type of Protoss player that I like to play against when I get Eclipse. You're not going to cast steal me. You're not going to forward gate me. The dream scenario. Jay, I'm on Wi-Fi, so I consistently get dropped, and I was wondering, like, why was I getting dropped in earlier stages of BSL? And you know what the reason was? Can you take a guess why I was getting dropped?
I don't know. Are you kicking? I don't know. Or maybe your leg is like resting on top of your computer, and your leg is like a giant piece of ham that's like blocking the Wi-Fi connection to your computer to your Wi-Fi. Is that it?
No, that's not it. But it's close. It's close, kind of with the ham. So some of the BSL games were earlier in the morning, and I live with my parents right now, so they use the microwave to heat up breakfast, and the microwave actually, the electromagnetic interference messes with Wi-Fi. I was Googling it. So my mom just microwaved something. I went down there, it's like, Mom, microwave.
Don't use it. I think the solution to that is just tell your parents to just not eat, right? I mean, I think BSL is a little more. I mean, just tell them to not eat. I mean, just skip breakfast. It's not that big of a deal. You can't mess up the cast.
I know, man.
BSL, it's BSL Pro League, man. This is what's saving StarCraft. This is all we've got. This is all we've got. You know, they can eat breakfast for lunch. You know.
That's right. They need to wait until the cast is over.
Exactly. That's exactly what needs to happen. But okay, I mean, looks like we got a. Wow, is that a? Did he?
It's gasless. No.
Oh my God, Dandy, great. I mean, super risky, but maybe he's got a read, right? Maybe he's like, I don't think NbA likes to play the aggressive type of plays on these kind of maps, so I'm just gonna go 15cc without any scouting.
Yeah, if I was gonna go gasless, I don't think Butter would be the map choice because it is 2-player. You know, they're gonna proxy you often, but Dandy's feeling confident in his micro. I mean, it's not even a Rax at the natural either, so there's no Sim City there. I mean, you have to be extremely confident in your control, or a madman. Like, you might just actually be crazy to make this move. I like how NbA is got a pylon at top left. We talked about it earlier, how we might see like a 1-base robo on Sylphid. I think this is going to be 1-base robo here on Butter.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we did poke that SCV away. I mean, we do have barracks and... Oh, okay.
Goon man.
Just all goons. I mean, that could also work, right? Because you're against Rack Expand. And yeah, it looks like we actually might just see 3 gate goons busting the fronts. And what do you think about this? I mean, maybe you hide it before they pull more SCVs, right? And then you kind of come in for the killing blow. Is that what's going to happen here?
Yeah, you can try and bust down the bunker, or you can just literally kill every SCV. I am actually not the biggest fan of this play. However, there are greedy Terran players like Light, who even when they go gasless expand, just don't get siege mode for some reason. If you get siege mode, I think you shut it down instantly. Now that SCV either just barely got range of not seeing a Nexus, or just barely got denied of being within range. I think he actually didn't get in range, so now he's kind of has to guess, did this guy expand or not?
I don't know. I think he saw the corner of it, but you know what's really ironic here, Naokin, is that typically if you don't see that, you're going to be weary of like a DT or a reverb, right? But we don't have either of those, so we're probably investing in like an eBay. Yeah, exactly, an eBay that we don't actually need because all we have are a bunch of goons, so we're just going to ape right on in, and so that actually might work against him. So it's almost like showing that you have Oh, looks like he's trying to have a hard time kind of getting out of it. So annoying there, but the turret is coming down, but this might be very deadly.
Yeah, I think he's waiting for 8 goons, and then he's just going to pounce. There's going to be one single tank, and that's it. Dandy is getting siege mode here. You must get siege mode. There's no other way to hold it. You can't just hold it with mass repair on the bunker unless you get like a complete surround, and Protoss literally never focus fires to SCV. There's that first tank. Siege mode is maybe like 20 seconds away, so if NbA is going to go, he's got to go right now. There it is. There's the 8 goons. He jumps on the bunker. He is focusing, firing it down. The Marine or the SCVs do not get surface area, but look at the SCV body block. It's amazing. However, there's just not enough DPS. He's going to continue to push through. He needs to clog this entrance. There's siege mode. Is he able to push through, though?
Yeah, this is going to be rough. You got to clear through all of those SCVs, and they are glitching, so... I want us to be... Oh, 2 goons get through there! Can more get through? I think this might be games. Too many goons are flooding in. Oh, but those other 3 goons also get blocked out there, and we got repair! Oh my god, such clutch play from Dandy, but it still might just be too much. The tank has to micro back. Oh, the bugged out goon! Really hurting NbA. One of them gets around. No! They're so slippery! They make it butter! They are, but yeah, it is butter on butter. They're slipping through. But look at the minimap. NbA's not reinforcing. Those goons were sitting there for like 10 seconds. So I don't know. I don't think we got this, but we do have a Nexus back on the map here, so I don't know if we did enough damage. They're on equal worker counts. The goons are trying to go in, but I don't think we're going to be able to kill those, and we have 3 more tanks on the way, so beautiful SCV block from Dandy. Oh, getting a trap there, so... Oh, and all those goons are going to fall, so this is going to be really bad, and I think this might be GG. I mean, I don't think he's going to tap out quite yet, but man, that was so close. Dandy with the good crisis management. That was amazing crisis management. I have no idea how those 2 goons got through 8 SCVs. Like, they literally just glitched through all of them, got on top of the tanks, yet somehow, some way, Dandy salvages the game. Worker count is even, but the command center is obviously much faster than the Nexus, so he's going to have more optimal mining right now. Behind this, NbA has no tech. There's no Citadel. There's no Robo. He's not even going to opt into that tech, into either of those techs of the follow-up. He's going to go straight into a 3rd Nexus. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can play it out from here. I mean, obviously, if you look at the supplies, you know, NbA is a little bit ahead, even worker count. But no tech from NbA. I think that's what's going to hurt the most. But we also don't have an armory, right? So, I don't know. I mean, I think I like Dandy's position here, but I think it's still somewhat playable. Looks like we're making a bunch of zealots. So, interesting. That I wonder if he's going to go for another push, because I don't see a shuttle here. Yeah, I think it's definitely playable. You know, even though I hate when people all in me with gateways, I kind of want to see NbA go like 6 gate, hide the Citadel somewhere, so if Dandy scans, he doesn't see it. And then as soon as Dandy moves out, just instantly run at it and just try and catch him off guard. Like no observer even either. Just as soon as you see this guy, just go. Kind of like right now, except Dandy hasn't moved out at all. This is going to be a disaster. Oh, no, it's not. Actually, Zealots can fit through! Well, and they're going to get on top of the tanks! But I don't know. I don't know if it's quite enough. I mean, I guess we get those. So we do pick off a couple of SCVs and, you know, a little bit annoying, deny some mining. And, you know, I thought that was fine, right? We took out 2 tanks, denied some mining, got a couple of SCVs, and we didn't really lose our goons, right? Because the goons are the important here. So, ironically, I kind of like that trade. And he's going 5 gates into a robotics, 930 robotics. Maybe we'll start seeing a second gas with the Citadel here, but yeah, I had very low expectations for that attack, but it has exceeded my expectations. So I also didn't think I was going to do anything, but then I noticed that deep. I'm like, wait a minute, that's on the wrong side. I would trade 4 zealots for, what was it, 2 or 3 tanks any day of the week. And, you know, Dandy, it's not like he's on 4 or 5 fact where he doesn't necessarily care about losing 2 tanks. I mean, he's only on 2 fact right now. Just now putting down his 3rd and 4th fact. Just now getting the comm set. So he has no idea, you know, of anything NbA is going for. And this is actually going to be a 6 fact follow-up. Yeah, how do you feel about this? I mean, I felt like maybe playing just for the 3 base would be a better choice, but I guess we're gonna have +1. We are on a lot of gateway man units, and I feel like NBA's just been pumping a lot of units in general. So I guess the other thing here is that 2 of the gateways are actually over on the top left. So if Dandy neutralizes that, then NBA is going to have to rebuild at least a few more gateways to even hold this. So maybe this is the right choice. He knows there's a proxy, take out the proxy, and then go for the kill.
Yeah, this could be a good move. In general, I'm not a big fan of Six Fact, but it can work out. There's no Goliath, though, to shut down shuttle play, at least not just yet, and that's always a good counter to Six Fact. We see Dandy had a ton of tanks, though, like actually just an absurd amount of tanks. I think he has 11 right now, and that is only 9 goons. Okay, maybe it's 7? No? Okay, he's got just 8. It's a little lower than I thought, but here he comes. He's down supply, and Butter has a lot of ramps, so he does need to be careful moving into Fog of War like this. NBA sees that he's out of position. Oh! A massive siege! But the Zealots are on top of it.
Yeah, and he's got some reinforcements on the back with the high ground. So NBA taking so many good fights in this series, and Dandy's push just gets absolutely blasted. So, man, I am so impressed by the quality of the fights that NBA is taking just throughout the series. So, you have some speed vultures coming around here, which is a great move because you can get some value, you can get some map control. Hopefully, NBA actually plugs that in there. Beautiful plug. So the vultures aren't going to do any damage. So really good play. Who loses one of those? Okay, can it get in? Oh, these vultures are just so annoying. Oh, and it actually gets in, dude. What a unit. What a unit.
What a unit indeed. And the mine doesn't connect. I'm not sure, but these vultures got way more damage than they should have. They have like 5 health each. That one's going to get 3 kills. It also gets intel into all of the tech. It spotted the Citadel tech at the top.
Yeah, and that's why you do this. This is just the mark of a high-level player. And man, we got another group of vultures. And if they go to the other side over there, it could get nasty really fast. But it looks like we do have a shuttle, so we might actually be able to punch that in. And NBA might be going in for a bit of an attack here. Oh, nice line drag. Picks off one of the tanks, and you always want to be trading a vulture for a tank, and he just walks right by those. Oh my god.
No, not like this, NBA!
Oh,
no! He lets in everything! These vultures have so many mines, too! What do you do as NBA? All of his units are across the map. The main's gonna get completely ransacked. I would say, luckily for NBA, if there could be any luck in a situation like this, look at his probe count. It's still pretty darn high. It's still ahead of Dandy's. He's at 47 now versus 49. He's got decent eco, but while all this has happened, Dandy's gonna make another move out. However, that was not ideal. Loses a ton of vultures.
Yeah, and I think I just saw Dandy put a 3rd command center at the edge of his base, and so it looks like he does want to start to transition out of this. It's kind of such a weird game because the vultures are on the side of the map, but he still has goons out there, so it's kind of this weird thing going on. But I think NBA is still okay. I think Dandy definitely won back the game from that point on, but man, those vultures, they're such high value units. He let every single one in. Oh, and it was 4 of those goons. Oh, that's going to be really costly.
So NBA had a obviously amazing trade a moment ago, but now it's Dandy getting the trades of his life. He killed so many goons right there, despite that fantastic trade, and despite killing so many probes. Supply is still in favor of NBA. The problem, though, is these minefields have not been cleared out at all. They're right outside of the natural. They're on high ground. And Dandy, he's had 6-fact for a long time, so he's got a decent tank count, and he's moving across pretty rapidly. Another engagement here. No observers at all. Goodbye, Zealots. Gotta be careful with the goons.
Don't do this. Go back, go back. Come on, we've had such good battles, but he's just gonna go ape in there. We do have Zealots right on top, but the ape is not gonna work this time.
What's he gonna do? Ape in there?
Well, we do have some Dark Templars, but man, NBA was taking so many fights so well. I mean, I felt like maybe it didn't matter anyways because, You know, he lost 5 of those goons outside the base, took catastrophic damage. So NBA's got to be kicking himself just because those vultures just slid by and won the game. But if he plugged those, he probably would have been able to just win this very easily. So really sucks to lose this one. But again, both players played really well.
Yeah, I thought NBA had it after that engagement in the center of the map, but now it's Dandy. Well, 1DT. Can it save the day? He's forced out 2 scans. Oh, I don't know about this siege. I think you gotta unsiege, dude. Don't blow up your own SCV. Oh, nice bait. Nice bait.
Yeah, that was actually, I think that's what he was looking for. GG. Well played by Danny, man. Jeez, these games are getting kind of sweaty in here, man. I think Danny was like, whoa, like, he got sweaty twice because those three gate goons almost ended him. And he moved out and got destroyed because NbA took a beautiful fight outside of his main. But yeah, those vultures, I mean, that's just the mark of a high-level player, right? Because, like, typically when you're in a crisis situation, you kind of go back home, you try to stabilize. But sometimes, whenever you hold, you know, a fight from Protoss, you should always send your speed vultures out around the map because that's when Protoss is, like, least ready for a good map. So, great play by Danny, showing again why he's a former champion.
Yeah, really nicely done by Dandy. But I have to say, even though the score is 2-0, you know, it easily could have been 2-0 in favor of NBA, or at least 1-1. So Dandy 1 game away. NBA needs to start making a comeback here. It's going to be his map pick again. We've already gotten Butter picked, and I don't think it necessarily went poorly for him. I think it was just fine. So I would, if I was Danny here, I would veto Overwatch because I think NBA might go for another 2-player map pick, and the only one remaining is Overwatch in this case.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens here. I mean, again, yeah, I like what you said because NBA could have won both of these games. And I think what was, I don't know if it's a mistake from Danny, but Danny does seem to be playing a little more aggressive than I'd like to, and NBA is getting the better of him. And at least in those battles, right? In those exact battles. But let's see what we can do. I mean, we do have Vermeer, and I think this will actually play well to NBA style.
I agree. Our players are ready. Dandy 1 game away. Let's see if he can close it out. Okay, in the top right, our Protoss, it's NBA.
And in the bottom right, we have Dandy.
All right, now anybody that watches BSL or ASL knows that I like to make predictions on build orders. I think this is 12 Nexus. I want to see BBS from Dandy. Do I think we're going to see BBS from Dandy? No, but I really do think this is 12 Nexus.
Yeah, let's see it. I mean, it is close spawns, which is unfortunate. I mean, 12 Nexus in the diagonal positions is the dream because Cheese Rush. I mean, I have mixed feelings about 12 Nexus, and not necessarily from a player perspective, but I feel like the prevalence of 12 Nexuses in general kind of increases the RNG and, like, also makes for some crappy games, you know? Like, if you get Cheese Rush and the Cheese Rush works, or if the Cheese Rush fails, you know, then it's just kind of over. But it looks like we don't have a 12 Nexus here, so I don't know. It almost seems like to me, most of the time when Terrans go for the SCV Rush, when it scouts it, it's usually successful. I don't know. I mean, is that your experience as well?
A lot of times it is successful, that's true, but sometimes, you know, those Protoss players have a 12 Nexus, but they're cutting like they don't have one. They're just cutting probes all day long, and they have like 2 Zealots, 2 Goons by the time you show up, so you gotta be careful. I do like this, even though it's not 12 Nexus, this is gonna be Gate Nexus maybe, or maybe not. Nope, it is gonna be Zealot into Gas.
Yeah, and at least we do have a close spawns, but unfortunately Dandy is going to scout it, so I don't think we're going to get too much damage here, given that Dandy is a very solid Terran player. He's probably going to be able to defend against us very well. But yeah, NBA does a really good job with these kind of zealot openers. He likes to open a little bit aggressively. He's got excellent micro, but he is getting the last scout, unfortunately. So a little bit unlucky.
Yeah, and Dandy, of course, he gets the first scout off, so he sees exactly what's going on, sees the build order, sees that this cybernetics is pretty slow, so this is going to be multiple zealots, or it should be multiple zealots, just going to be 2. And third pylon, I guess he technically didn't see it, but he did see the probe go down to the bottom side of his base, so he knows that there's not like a hidden pylon somewhere, so he should discredit DT play.
Yeah, and there's a second zealot coming out, so I think Dandy saw it. Like, technically, I wonder if he actually saw it. I'm pretty sure he knows because he's a high-skilled player, and sometimes the second zealot can really, really throw Terrans off, right? You expect one, you come down, you make a bunker, and the second one comes out, and all of a sudden a goon's at your front base, and so things can get really dicey real quick. So we're going to go straight to the tank. We see 4 Marines. We're going to continue to pump Marines, which is the right play here, and so it looks like Danny's just prepared. Just a really solid player. But let's see if these zealots can get any value.
Yeah, I think we might see FD here. He's gonna build 6 Marines, and I like this move because it forces NbA to get range. If you don't get range, oh whoa, is he proxying something at the bottom? Uh-oh.
Okay, well, it's
what's
just
this?
pylon. It might be dangerous though because the FD push is going to be really strong against him, and it looks like Dandy's also going to come back with the SCB. He's going to scout exactly what's going on. So this is going to get very dangerous for NbA, and he's on. Oh, looks like we might be able to block the ramp. Can we block the ramp? Oh, great job there. Oh!
What did he drill on? What did he
He
drill
must have
on?
done the shift click. He did the shift click. So while he was in the base, he went to the top left, and then he shift clicked back into the minerals to glide through it. So now he sees everything, and now he knows there must be something out on the map, and he might actually just go ahead and check the 6 o'clock, and that might be the nail in the coffin.
Well, I'm not even sure, because if I'm Terran here, this doesn't look unusual really at all. Like, you can't have 2 zealots range and 2 goons and a nexus, or if you do, you're like just barely. Oh, why would you ever go here? Oh my god.
Oh, that's star sense. It's over.
Why would you ever go here? I guess it's because the probe wasn't in that army, right? Remember, it poked in initially and then it left.
Yeah, and that's going to be nasty. I don't think we can do anything from here. I mean, we can try to make some DTs and throw a Hail Mary, but I guess he's going to try to not get that killed, and I think he can maybe buy some time with the goons, right? Because, okay, got some Marines out of position, so this might be actually really dangerous for Danny here. Got to be a little bit careful, but we do have the mines coming out, and we're going to stack that pile. So it looks like NbA is just pretty desperate at this point. So I don't think we're going to get any damage. Okay, we do pop those.
Well, this is gonna get weird because all the mines died. This is 4 goons. Tank just popped out, I think. No, it didn't. But Tank's gonna come in from the back, and okay, luckily he took out that pylon. That's an SCV drill. He needed that move.
He's got to get out of the way. This isn't butter. This isn't butter.
Oh no! Another goon falls, and it's all falling apart for NbA. There's no nexus behind this, but remember, he still has the DT coming. I haven't seen a turret at all just yet. He's going to rebuild the pylon. Academy coming down, but again, there's still no turrets. Remember, all the mines were wiped out. If he can get there quick enough, Dandy may not be focusing on mine placement right now.
Yeah, we're going to have a couple of those coming in there, so... Man, I think he was just multitasking. Oh my god, he's going to kill them. What an absolute god! He knows that the lines are not going to be there, so he's going to go on the other side here, and it's loop right on around. So now Danny's starting to sweat. Oh, but he's got to. Oh, that's hurt.
I thought he was going to run by that. I thought he was going to run into the main. Instead, he takes a detour, and then he instantly gets popped. Another DT runs in, takes a big hit. That's not ideal. And look at this. Instant third Nexus.
Yeah. I mean, this is Quark plays, right? Oh, we're going to get... Okay, got the bolster, ironically. But we do have a comm set on the way, so... Dandy is for sure in a great position. He's going to scout the greed from NbA. It's going to be hard, especially if he continues to pump a bunch of vultures with speed. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing, because we know that we don't have any observers out here. So speed with mines is going to take so much map control. It's going to be hard for NbA to guard it. And I think that might end the game, because we don't have any goons to stop anything. We don't even have cannons. So the vultures are going to have a field day.
Yeah, there's only one gate really for NbA back in his main. He's got to put a pylon wall up at his third base, which he doesn't want to spend. Like, look, he's 46 out of 74. 2 vultures are going to run in again. Okay, just one gets swiped. He's going to lay some mines. Maybe not going to deal that much damage. Okay, now it's getting into the mineral line. He kills a couple more. He still sees that there's no additional gateway. So now Dandy should definitely know, like, okay, dude, you must have something else hidden, like another additional thing hidden somewhere, which has to only be a Nexus.
Yeah, and I think Dandy is just going to play it pretty solid from this point. I mean, you know, they do have even worker counts, but you don't want to be even with the Terran. Granted, NbA does have a third Nexus out, so he's going to start pulling ahead, but yeah, I love the dropship play coming out of Dandy. You know, he knows that this is the opportunity to use the mobility of vultures to make things hectic, right? The Robo is just starting, and it's going to be really hard to stop these 4 vultures, and he's probably going to be sending vultures around the map simultaneously. He's got great multitask.
Yeah, because the vultures have gotten in multiple times, unless the Robo's at that Templar Archive, which there's no way he's going to build it there because it's been found. He knows that the Robo is non-existent for NbA, so these vultures, they literally may trigger the GG. Here comes the dropship, and no reaction.
GG, yeah. And we got the mines, and we have no observers here. And Dandy knows this, so that's exactly why he's just pumping in with the mines first instead of going to the probe line. But ironically,
oh my God.
Ironically, it's not doing not as much damage as I thought it. Oh. Okay, well, yeah, it did a lot of damage, but I think it could have done more, but sometimes the mines just don't fall in the direction that you want. But overall, still worth it.
Yeah, still worth. 40 probes to 40 SCVs. Again, another factory flood from Dandy. His dropship got out alive too, so now NbA has to be wary of that. A secondary drop. You can see that he sends a DT to top middle because drop could be there. Drop could be back in the main too, so I'm sure he's got some goons hanging out there to make sure that doesn't happen. He's transitioning into Citadel. I don't even know if he has an observatory. Have you seen that?
I
don't see it anywhere.
I just forgot or something. Maybe, yeah.
Oh, he already has a Citadel. He's building an additional one.
He has a second one? Oh,
yeah.
God. Yeah.
Oh,
I guess
no.
I forget. But the problem is we don't have any vision. Dandy's already moving up the map. So the only saving grace could maybe sort of be the DTs, but we have some SCVs already, and he's got so many scans, so I just don't think this is going to be enough.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be the killing blow. Dandy so close to victory. He wants to get that 3-0 and or send NbA to the loser's bracket. Here comes that DT though. Oh, great hit.
Good attack there.
And now all that's left is 4 tanks. Dandy needs to run unless he can rally some vultures across the map ASAP. There are zealots, I think, in that shuttle. Yeah, they unload. The mines get off a pretty big hit, but it's, again, like I said, just pure tank. Oh.
Wow. I almost feel like a lot of these attacks always go NbA's way. Now, I expected him to just lose there, but he's actually pushing it back, and he might get all of the tanks. Oh, get a little bit. Oh, we got DT from behind.
Flanking DT, man. He's gonna. Okay. He doesn't. Okay, now his brother's coming in.
Swipe and swipe. Okay, got that tank. Really good drop from NbA there.
Well, I've been watching NbA's pro production this entire time. While all that's happening, he's built it up to 54, which is a fine number to be on when you're on 3 bases. So I think NbA has actually stabilized this game as long as he can get his gateway count up to a manageable number. He's putting down 2 more. Remember, he's already got speed on his zealots, so he's got the gateway man tech. He just needs production. 7 gateways for him now. I think it's enough to hold Dandy.
Yeah, and I think finally Dandy's gonna. I think that gateway from behind actually is saving NbA, to be honest, because like, well, where's his observers? It looks like Dandy is gonna go for his stack, and I honestly think that Danny's playing a little too aggressive here. I mean, I guess it might work out because we don't have observers, but I don't know if that's oh, nice Mandrak there. And we got the DT to clean this up, and so this is all of a sudden looking really bad for him.
Yeah,
he just needs some observers out there ASAP.
This is gonna happen sometimes. Like, you think you just have a dominating position and you just attack and attack and attack, and like I said, Terran can't build 6 tanks at once. It's a little different. Oh, hot pickup right there. Saves the DT.
Micro. Oh, we get that SCV there. And man, where are the observers? I mean,
it doesn't have any.
Where is it?
Still none. Oh my god, no! It's about to pop, and now you go. No, not like this. NbA, please.
Oh my god, I think he just forgot to build them. I mean, I think this could have been the way that he came back, because Danny is being so super overly aggressive, but somehow, some way, he just makes it work every time. But now we're gonna lose the base, we lose all the probes. Danny's sneaking a base over at the 3 o'clock, because even if he loses his entire army, he's still gonna be very ahead.
Yep. NbA. I think he had it with the observer, but now he kills nothing in that fight. Dandy, okay, he's not gonna be able to escape just yet. Dandy again, or NbA gonna go for another counterattack.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is gonna work. I mean, 6 factory production, just chilling on a ramp. I don't know. I mean, this is gonna take a miracle. So I mean, we do get some
DT again. That's a lot of tanks to lose. The problem is just no third base anymore for NbA.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we do have the tanks coming back, but I just feel like Terran on a ramp is just so hard to bust, especially if you hold the SCVs. But it looks like we might come in there. We got a nice mind drag, dude.
Oh my gosh.
NbA's like attacks are so good this game. I mean, I honestly think this could have been like, oh, we got some B2 DTs.
He's not looking.
NbA making.
Dude, he's cutting off tanks like they're just getting stuck and they're getting instantly 2-shot. Well, not necessarily 2-shotted, but double swiped by both of them and pop. NbA is still even in supply. He's down 20 workers though. We're approaching that 17-minute mark where bases start to mine out. Dandy finally starting to be a little bit, starting to be passive and stabilize its third base. But here comes NbA again for another round of units. There's not that many tanks and they're weak.
I think he might be able to bust this, and all of a sudden, like, I feel like Dandy keeps throwing away so many units, but the problem is you don't want to be on 2 bases as a Protoss. I just feel like, well, I don't know. You know, like, this game's getting a little wacky here, man.
Yeah, it is wacky.
Now we're on 1 base.
Dandy's gonna lose this base?
Yeah, maybe. Nah, he's shot now.
Well,
or can we get another shuttle bomb?
I think he can. Oh, I thought he had a DT in there, but I just realized there's a vessel too, so not going to be the case. Again, there's no observers. Who needs observers though when you can just walk by everything just like that? The shuttle. There are zealots in the shuttle. Did Dandy overextend? He has nothing on his ramp. He's got to run.
I mean, it could be checkmate if he actually gets up the ramp, but it looks like the SCVs are going to block very beautifully. He's going to stop that, but he's got to be careful not to run into those mines. But he literally slid right by the mines on the left side there.
Did you see Dandy has another command center in his main? He built actually that one right there that's floating. He needs to float that over to bottom left. I don't know why he took mid right. That was so far forward. I think he just forgot that it's there. He needs to take it though, because NbA is getting his third base up. He's transferred workers.
Yeah, I mean, NbA is showing he has a lot of finesse. That's what we learned. I mean, like, he's got really good moves. and he's very persistent with like his attacks. A lot of times when you're losing, Terran players just like, Protoss players typically will just go Rage 1A, 2A, 3A, you know what I mean? But NbA kind of has like that persistence. He's got that grit there. So finally, 17 minutes into the game, we're going to take out that pylon that's been plaguing Dandy all game. But man, can NbA play? Oh, we're making Archons. I wish we would have kept those as templates because we need templates.
Yeah, if he got a juicy storm drop off, I mean, you know it's going to be juicy because the main's mined out, and that's going to be mined out pretty soon. Most of the workers are actually going to be at the third base. If he was able to get a storm drop off at the third base, he could legitimately kill like 15, 20 workers in a heartbeat. We do see finally Dandy has kind of accepted the fact that the game's going to stabilize for now. NbA, who's done a really good job building probes all game long, has kind of stagnated on 43. He's going to go in for another attack. I think this is a big mistake, needs to back off.
Yeah, and the upgrades, even though he doesn't have double upgrades, he is on +2, which is going to be really tough. I think NbA has no upgrades, and so I just don't think we have a lot going for us. Now, that second Citadel is going to pay off in dividends because now he doesn't have to remake it. So I guess that's the silver lining there. But yeah, I think Dandy's gonna say, okay, I'm not gonna throw this. All 3 games he's just been attacking. NbA's been coming back because of the attacks. But sometimes I guess he just kind of makes it work. So I think Dandy has to just chill out. And it looks like NbA's actually going in for a big attack here.
Oh, instantly loses the shuttle. Great D-Matrix, gonna soak up so much damage. The goons are basically doing nothing. Everything gets vaporized, and this is going to be the hold that Dandy needed. GG comes out from NbA. What a game! But Dandy takes the series 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, this was a close series. I mean, it was 3-0, and I guess you could definitely see that Dandy was just the better player. Like, he made things work, and that's what better players do. They make things work. Even though I feel like some of those attacks, were very high variance, right? I wouldn't say they're bad attacks, but you better be on top of your engages there. But NbA actually punished Dandy all 3 games with those attacks. But it's those small things that those better players do that will actually come and win you the game, right? It could just be like setting up the right minefields, having the vision, slipping those speed vultures out. And that's exactly what Dandy did to win those games. But man, NbA's looking really scary. I mean, it's really scary fighting a Protoss who can take good engages. With the exception of that one where he kind of just like sent his units without the observer. And that must have been so tilting for NbA. He's like, he probably pressed it like 8 times, but it just didn't build. It's like an Artosis, it didn't build.
Yeah, and I've had moments like that where something doesn't build, and in your mind you're like, I can't wait 5 more seconds for this. I have to go right now. And like you said, every other trade was great, but that one not the greatest. He made a really good game out of it. Imagine getting your proxy scouted and you're basically all in, and then you stabilize the game like that. It goes to 20 minutes, and he was mega dead. He took so much probe damage, he still stabilized it. So well done from NbA, even though he does lose. But that means that we have our first finalists. It's Dandy coming through the winners bracket. We're going to be going into a break, and then we're going to be finding out who's going to be facing off versus NbA, because our semifinals is coming up. It's going to be TerrOr versus Jiren, and that's going to be an exciting Terran versus Zerg. All right, guys, we are back. We just saw Dandy move on into the grand finals. NbA is going to be waiting in the losers bracket. And we're going to be going into TerrOr versus Jiren. TerrOr looked very strong earlier, so did Jiren. And we know TerrOr's got amazing Terran versus Zerg. You never know what he's going to throw at you, so this is going to be very, very difficult for Jiren.
Yeah, I mean, back when I played Zerg, back in those good old days, TerrOr was always such a pain to deal with, right? Like just like you said, he could play any style, right? He can 8 racks you. He's 7 racks you before too. He had like one more Marine than I expected him to have. He could wall. He could go. Actually, I don't think I see him playing Valkyries as much. Maybe he does, but he can go 1-1-1. He can do so many different things. He can play standard and kill you. I mean, he's also very deadly, especially in that like 8, 9 to 10 minute range where he's going for like a tank push with the dropship follow up and then vessels, and then all of a sudden he has like 3rd and 4th bases, and then a battle cruiser shows up. Like, you just can't catch a breath with somebody like TerrOr. You have to be on top of your A game. You either have to punch him back really hard so he can't get into that groove, or you just gotta be super defensive with your style. But there's some chance TerrOr just wins the game super early as well with some sort of crazy build.
Yeah, he can go 1 base timing. He can like float factories in your base. I don't know if he'll play Wraith, but he can do it all. So Jiren, he does need to be on his toes. Yesterday we saw TerrOr versus JD Conan. Even though JD Conan lost, I think JD Conan played pretty darn well on Overwatch, but it's just a testament to TerrOr's skill. There was no point in that game where he was behind. Jiren, on the other hand, he doesn't play like JD Conan at all. He really is hardcore mutas, and he's gonna make something. He's gonna have to make an opening for himself. He's gonna have to get damage done with it. Otherwise, I think TerrOr's gonna run away with it in the mid game. Map choice is Sylphid. You can see the map statistics right there, 272 to 272, so dead even, 50% win rate. Let's get into game 1 between these two titans. Okay, in the top middle, our Zerg player. It is Jiren.
And in the bottom left, we have Loot Boy TerrOr, who's our red Terran.
As we
we got the OP spot for Jiren, right?
I know, man. He's got the OP spot, but it's Sylphid. And the reason I say but it's Sylphid is because, you know, I always think about maps often. Like, okay, what do I not want to play versus this guy? But like all of the maps are good for TerrOr, and this is a map where you can wall. I'm surprised he doesn't wall here, but he can wall. And when you're not able to scalp this guy, you've got to build a Sunken, you've got to build a Hydra Den, and then he could have just been building like a command center in his main, and he floats it, you know? It's like, what do you ban from this map pool that you think would be bad for TerrOr? Like, nothing comes to mind.
Yeah, and I believe, it's been some time since I played Zerg, but typically, if the Terran is counterclockwise from you, that's a good thing for Zerg, right? But if they're if they're clockwise from you, that's good, right? But if they're counter, it's not as good, right? Because like your mutas can go harass like their main base and fly back to defend very easily. Is that correct, or am I getting?
Well, maybe on certain maps, but I hate the spawns that TerrOr's gotten for versus Jiren here, because mutas can directly go to the natural. In my experience on Sylphid, I just don't have good turret placement here. I think that the Nat could get multiple muta kills. At least TerrOr didn't spawn bottom right, which is just an absolute disaster for turret placement. We do see 12 hatch from Jiren. It's a normal like 205 pool, 205 gas, something like that. Meanwhile, this is 15 CC follow-up from TerrOr, so everything is just very normal.
Yeah, and I wonder if Jiren, he's not really banking up some lings here. Usually some Zergs like to go 6 lings to force a bunker out of Terran, and then they kind kind of come back, but it looks like here we're not going to go for that, at least not immediately. And so let's see if TerrOr's actually going to skip that bunker and move straight onto his build, which I think he will. I mean, we see 0 lings here, so I guess they're both just playing super economic.
Yeah, I actually like when Zerg builds 6 lings, and the reason I say that is Zerg can still transition into their lair, normally. Spire's not going to be delayed at all. Whereas Terran, when you build 6 lings like this, bunker, 100%. That 100 minerals means, for example, refinery can't be built on time. Academy is going to be delayed. I really do like when Zerg builds multiple lings and force that bunker because it really does throw everything off from Terran. Now, I realize you're losing 3 drones. I do factor that in, but I think it throws Terran more for a loop than it does Zerg. Now, Terra does need to be careful to not lose this SCV. It is crucial to know what Zerg is doing. I think he's lucky that his opponent is Jiren, because Jiren 100% of the games is going mutas, but that was a bit of miss micro there to already lose that SCV.
Yeah, and he actually did go for the bunker as well. I mean, if I saw correctly, I think I saw the eBay, so I guess going for the bunker is fine because you're not going to have as much production there. I would have loved to see him just go for 15 CC into a fast academy, no bunker, and just come out with this super fast timing. But I agree with everything you said, because even though your drone count is going to be a little lower, I think that matters slightly less because the tech timing is what's most important. And to support 2-base, 2-base mining, two-base mutas, you only need 1 drone per patch, and typically you get that with the 6 anyway. So we are going to be a little bit rich, and because he got the drones first, I mean, he's getting that 3rd base much sooner actually, and it's just started like probably 30 seconds ago as well, over at 3 o'clock. So I like Jiren's position here. Forced the bunker, has good economy, and killed the first SCV.
Yeah, he doesn't know that it was an eBay rush, but if he did, he would be feeling fantastic about his position. 3rd base, no way in hell Terra can bust this. If he moves out with 1 medic, maybe he can deny it in time. That's the only way he can actually knock this down before mutas. Yesterday we saw similar build from Terra, and he transitioned it into 4 barracks. It looks like that's going to be the case again, so he's really going to be pumping out those Marines and medics.
Yeah, and it looks like, Terra is also really, really disciplined with SCV scouting, and I think this is another thing from really good players, that they always are very disciplined about scouting, right? Like, scouting is what makes the game for StarCraft, right? And you can tell the difference between a good player because they're always scouting and they're always reacting, whereas a lower level player doesn't scout and just assumes and then kind of just autopilots, right? So Terra saw the base at the 3 o'clock. We do have the mutas come out, so let's see what Jiren does with this. I feel like there's always a few different options. Typically, you want to wait for the 7 mutas to one-shot the SCVs, or you can get 8 so that you can 3-shot turrets. You can either go pick off SCVs at the natural, or you can dive into the main base and start picking off as you're going out. So let's see what he wants to do. He's going to show them. Looks like he's going to punch that supply depot. Not a huge fan of this because you can kind of get a little bit better value, right? Like, you want to get value before the turrets and the upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be annoying, really. Okay, now that's a good engagement. You can see that all the Marines stemmed way far forward and medics were way behind, so he gets a free 2 or 3 Marines. Something to point out, though, is turn rate 16 high, so it is going to be hard to mute a micro, so I don't know how effective Jiren is actually going to be here versus the ball that's now clumped up, and now that the ball has +1, it's going to be even harder to engage. But we can see if he can get... Oh, he loses a muta there and takes a lot of damage on another one. He loses another one! You can't have trades like this!
Yeah, I mean, he got a couple of nice volleys off, and sometimes, like, you kind of weaken them with the first glaives, and then the second one comes in and kills 3 or 4, but that didn't fortunately happen, and he actually lost, like, 4 mutas. And Terra must be feeling really good. I think we also see the factory come out, and we have such strong production, all of our upgrades. Now, Terra also kind of skimping on those turrets back there. You know, if he's playing against a Zerg like Crossy, he would definitely punish that. He would go sunken and come back around, but he's putting on that pressure and forcing Jiren to play on the back foot while he actually sent a second group of units to the main base. So this might get swallowed. and give Jiren a false sense of hope while he actually comes into the main base, and this might be what actually wins the game. This is what TerrOr's really good at.
Yeah, the small counterattack, and it even has the medic mixed in. So TerrOr does lose his whole army, but he gets a decent amount of drones. However, I'm worried that this is going to be 2 groups of Marine medic that's lost, not necessarily for free because he gets a couple of Mutalisks, but the question to me was that worth? Because remember, Zerg still has 3 bases. They still have 3 gas, but I know TerrOr's hitting his build order, like his starports, I'm sure, are coming in. I think he did just barely kill enough drones to make that work.
Yeah, but you know what's worrying me is we don't have a Queen's Nest, we don't have an Evo Chamber, which doesn't give us a whole lot to work with here. We don't have the tech, we don't have +1 Carapace on the way to, you know, fight with the big mid game. So we're gonna have to make something work. And I think we could actually go in for a counterattack into the main base, because TerrOr's playing super duper aggressive. So we're actually gonna destroy some of these turrets here. And this could get actually really nasty for TerrOr, because he actually... Oh, we're slightly flopping on the meter micro.
Yeah, look at that small counterattack going to the natural. He's not even paying attention to these Marines in his main. Again, it's a small attack, but it's 5 Marines. That's a lot of DPS. Drones are going to fall left and right. 2 mutas can't save that. More drones falling. And these small attacks are literally winning the game for TerrOr. He's going to lose all of his Marines now. But what does that do? It draws all the mutas back, which means TerrOr can just focus on getting his tech up and running. Focus on rebuilding the turrets.
Yeah, that, you know, ironically, if he just canceled those lurkers and had the 2 Hydras just attacking, like, naked Marines, he probably just holds. But yeah, that's going to be hard, because now we have double 2-port vessels on the way. He'll probably, my guess is, go, like, something like 2 to 4 vessels into double dropships, or even 2 vessels into 2 dropships, because Jiren is spread really thin. I would love to actually see the 4 vessels, because you're going to get so much value just irradiating lurkers over and over, and I just don't think Jiren has that many outs. He can't fight in the mid game, he doesn't have hive tech, and TerrOr is free to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, we did see TerrOr yesterday transition into fast drops, so that could definitely be the case. We also saw the BCs being pumped out after just 4 vessels, so that's also an option. We see that a macro hatch is done for Jiren. His supply is decent, 70 to 85. That's not bad. The problem for him is, like you said, the hive. It's not even started. The evolution chamber, not exactly the fastest. TerrOr might be at like 2-2 before even +1 finishes. These mutas can't really do anything now that the vessels are out. So Jiren has to kind of just sit there and accept that he's gonna get irradiated over and over for quite a long time. Like, still there's no Queen's Nest, man.
What is this? Maybe Hydra Lurker?
Yeah,
it has to be,
it is.
Right? Like, you know, if we don't have Queen's Nest, and I would love to actually see those mutas loop around into main base, snipe those 2 turrets, and actually force the vessels to come back. That's one way you can buy time. The mutas did 0 damage to the SCVs the entire game, and that's why TerrOr's macro engine is just popping off. And so, because we're not dealing with any tanks here, he doesn't really need to hold those mutas there, except maybe to stop a drop. So I just want him to be a little bit more aggressive with the mutas. You don't want to fight, you know, mutas with, you know, against an army just because they'll melt so fast. But let's see if he can actually hold this.
Scourge, not going to get a connection. Lurkers, I mean, there's more and more of them. I think there's like 7 or so set up there. So TerrOr not going to be able to plow through, but he's got complete map control right now. Oh, I think mutas might have donked off at the natural of TerrOr. Oh, no. They do get away, but that's a great irradiant, and I don't know if Jiren's paying attention. He's not!
Oh my god! That is the most satisfying thing I've ever seen in my entire life!
Oh my god! That came from a Zerg player too, so you know it was good, guys.
Zerg sucks. Get Zerg a buff. Get Zerg a buff, man. Oh my, that was amazing. I'm so glad I played that.
Oh my god,
Okay.
that was unreal damage. I mean, TerrOr's not going to be able to push anywhere, but that was absurd amounts of damage. I want to see command centers, though, or tanks or something, because Hydra Lurker is strong, and he does have a decent amount of lurkers now.
Yeah, it is true, right? You could catch Terran with their pants down if they don't have any tanks, and the lurker spine just kind of gets you. And so we're going for a big counterattack here, which actually might do a lot of damage. So Terra pulling back really well. We're gonna come back, but the problem here is now we're gonna get Marines from 3 sides. So
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's Boxer!
It is Boxer. There's
It's
so
Boxer!
many Marines, dude.
Oh!
Everything just melts.
That is the second most satisfying thing I've ever seen in my life. After seeing 11 mutas evaporate from 1 irradiate. Oh my god. Zerg! That's why I don't play that garbage race. But anyways, great play by TerrOr. You know, Jiren was playing really well. I think TerrOr, just with those little guerrilla attacks, was too much for him to deal with, unfortunately. But Jiren playing well. I think if he just holds against those little attacks, then I think he would have been in a really good spot to actually win the game.
Yeah, I think he had a shot. When I played Jiren like a month or 2 ago in Death Fate show match, he also did this exact same thing, which was mute a Hydra Lurker. It is hard to deal with because you shut down the mutas and you're feeling confident to move out, and then all of a sudden there's mass Hydra Lurkers. So if TerrOr doesn't get damage like that done, I mean, all of a sudden Hydra Lurker can snowball pretty hard when you're floating your factory, because you need tanks versus Hydra Lurker. Like Murray Medic Vessel doesn't beat it. It's tough.
Yeah, and I think Hydra Lurker is one of those things that I have mixed feelings about it. I think it's kind of come back into the meta a little bit more on like maps like maybe Eclipse. I don't think on like a 4-player map it's that effective, just because Terran kind of split the tanks everywhere. But it is one of those maps that if Terran knows the right response, you don't want to engage Zerg in the middle of the map, right? Because Hydra Lurker has a lot of punching power, especially when Terrans just kind of auto lift off their factories into vessels, right? But if they notice it, and Terran can literally just take 3 bases, 4 bases, set up tanks, and just never attack until you have like 12 tanks. So I think that's the right way. But typically, I know Zergs these days with Hydra Lurker, they actually tech into Hive and then go Hive.
Yeah, you got to get that high. I mean, I don't think there's really almost any valid strategy from Zerg that doesn't include Hive. Terrans are too good these days. They eat lair tech only Zergs for dinner so easily. We've decided that the second map is going to be Overwatch. Jiren must win here, otherwise Terra's going to be moving on to face NbA.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. All right, so it looks like we have in the top left Jiren as the red Zerg.
Yep, and in the bottom right, our blue Terran player. It is TerrOr, almost lagged out there, but I'm back, baby. And Overwatch, again, it's another map that you can wall. I already... Okay, this is 48 minerals at 8 supply. This is what you do when you're going to wall your entrance. So this is not going to be an 8 Rex, it's just me depot.
Yeah, and this is where things get scary, right? I mean, obviously this is Jiren's pick, so he probably has something ready for this. Now, I actually wonder if, because, you know, I play TerrOr a fair amount in ZBT, and I think usually on lots of these kinds of maps he likes to wall. I remember actually talking to Crossy about this in that heartbreaking ZBT and BSL Pro League, maybe like 6 seasons ago or something, where Crossy actually prepared a 4-pull just for TerrOr, because he knows that TerrOr likes to open walls, like for example it was on La Mancha. And unfortunately Crossy lost. And I don't know how TerrOr held it, but he did. But yeah, I wonder if you know, there's ways to abuse this, right? Like maybe he goes for like some sort of 2-hatch lurker bus or something. So we'll see if we want to do that. But we do see a drone scout coming out of the.
You can definitely abuse it with Hydra play. I like the Hydra play, but I kind of want to see somebody go 3-hatch before pool versus TerrOr because, I mean, what are you going to do? Are you just going to rally one Marine across the map? Maybe, but it is hard to get that done when it's not an 8 racks. We see that the wall's going to complete, and this is a disaster for Jiren. I think if you scout, you've got to do a timing where you can actually get into TerrOr's base. Now he has no idea. In this scout, all it does is confirm a wall. He doesn't even stick around to see if he can see the command center. So really, it's done almost nothing for him.
Yeah, and I mean, the Overlord is going to come there. The command center is going to go down, so it's not going to be some sort of like 1-1-1 or mech play. Typically, can you go mech from here? I mean, I guess you could, but typically you want to go the factory first, right?
Yeah, I like factory first because it gives you the pressure with the vulture. Whereas if you go delayed mech, you got really almost no pressure with the vulture. But Zerg is going to be thinking you're going bio or thinking you're going a +1 eBay as a follow-up. So you could show up with Goliath and if Zerg is kind of not expecting that, they may kind of, have teched into something that's not too ideal versus Goliath, or maybe they cut too many drones where they can't power out of it. I don't know. But we do see that this is going to be another eBay because it's in the bottom right corner of TerrOr's base.
Yep, and it looks like it's going to be just solid play. And I feel like, we talked about TerrOr having lots of weapons under his belt, right? However, I wonder for TerrOr, maybe he just feels like, hey, I just beat this guy all the time we just missed that SCV, unfortunately. But I think we might get it with drone, or I hope so. Sometimes we miss this. Okay, there you go. But yeah, I mean, I wonder if TerrOr's mindset here is kind of like, I think I could just beat him playing straight up. Doesn't have to play super fancy. Doesn't have to do anything kind of crazy. And we do have a second SCV coming out, and he's so disciplined with the scouting. Just as I said, he's always got an SCV somewhere, and he always knows what's going on, even if it's eating into his economy.
Yeah, last game he actually sent out 3 SCVs, and as I was watching, I was like, man, you're getting the intel, but I mean, this is 3 SCVs. He did a build. Yeah, it is a lot to lose, but he was doing a build where it was, he's not cutting SCVs at any point. Like, it's not like he was rushing the academy and cutting to get it out faster and then also sacking 3 SCVs. Then I would have really, really hated it, but he's not cutting at all, so it's fine. It's going to get into the nat again and into the main because, again, the Lings are out of position. So another fantastic scout from him.
Yeah, I think he was probably worried because, and he kind of like waited for the SCV because he's worried for a lurker bust, right? Because if this is a lurker bust, TerrOr needs to react right away because with this kind of full wall open, you notice he's been cutting a whole lot of Marines to get a super duper uber fast eBay academy and all these barracks coming out. So he's been prioritizing SCVs, prioritizing his tech, and this is going to be really scary. He doesn't have a lot of units, but he will very soon.
Look at that. He's got 3 Marines and 1 medic. 3 Marines and 2 medics.
I
Let's
know,
see the move out,
like,
man.
Imagine if there's like Lings and lurkers out here, but I mean, this is TerrOr, right? He likes to play. He likes to play like this, right? And he's gonna have everything out in time, right? And he's gonna have all of his upgrades, and it's just gonna be such a pain in the ass to deal with.
Yep, here come the mutas. They're popping out at 5:50, so pretty standard timing. He has so few Marines that I am worried that these depots are vulnerable. Okay, there we go. He's going to put a turret. Of course, we know that. Jiren doesn't know that. There's not that many Marines. Well, now all of a sudden, the three Marines, 2 medics have turned into about 8 Marines, 3 medics. So now we're starting to get into a real comp. We've got turrets in good position, so I don't think Jiren's going to be able to find really much damage anywhere.
Yeah, and so let's see again, where does he want to strike? And wow, TerrOr's just moving out front. He's so confident with the attack here. Oh, and he's gonna fight him out there. And this is Terran saying, does he have range? He does.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I don't does he have range? It's only 645, and I don't think this was the fastest academy I've ever seen. So maybe he does. I actually don't think he does, but I guess he could. That factory feels way too fast to also be banking 300 gas. So I actually don't think he has range.
That would be crazy because he's moving out into the map like this, and this can get very dangerous very fast. I think he has it. Yeah, he does, right? No,
I'm still unsure.
I think that's what he was doing because he was cutting the Marines, and then he just got an ultra fast academy. And I guess he could be forgetting it, but that would be disastrous if he forgot it because those Marines are toast if he forgot it.
Yeah, well, we've got double sunken up for Jiren, so there's no way TerrOr can bust this. And these Marines are so far forward that they're basically just dead in the water once the Zerglings spot them, and they are going to get spotted. There's 11 mutas sharking around, so TerrOr, he's just got to trade as favorably as he can because these are donezo.
Yeah, but ironically, moving these out, he lost 0 SCVs after a green. God, he did.
Oh, well, or not. Okay, and those Marines. Yeah,
he's got a group going up there, and I think this might be GG.
It went unspotted somehow. Like that Ling didn't spot it? How does it not spot it? Again, he's going to stem in here and shut down a mineral line. The lurkers are not in time. Oh, okay, this is a good engagement for Jiren, but he's going to lose his third. It's dead, 100%.
Yeah,
oh my god.
I feel like this build is so ridiculously overpowered against Zerg, especially if you get away with it. With the super fast eBay, because if you have the range out that fast, you lose 0 SCVs. If you lose 0 SCVs, that is so incredibly strong because your production is just so crazy. You have a 7-minute factory. This guy's like Bill Gates, man. This guy is everything. He's just rich. He's got tech, and okay, we do have a little lurker. I don't think it's...
Oh my god. He's got +1, so they just get mowed down. I thought that was a good counter right there, but it doesn't matter. Jiren taps out. There's too much Terran, and TerrOr, he easily takes the series 2-0.
Yeah, that build was just... Man. I gotta play some Terran, and I gotta try that sometime, because it's like, holy crap, he got so much so fast, and what do you do, right? Because here's the thing, even if he loses that Marines out there, the middle of the map, right? Like, you buy 2 minutes out there, not losing a single SCV, I think it's actually okay to lose that.
It is.
Especially if it's great. It's just like, here, have this. But he didn't even kill that. And the other group of Marines went out there, and so great timing, because also those Marines just got there before the lurkers as well. So TerrOr just beautifully orchestrated all the time.
Yeah, that's the dilemma that Zerg faces, is it's like, well, I can kill this, but Terran's thinking like, yeah, go kill that, man. I'm just gonna scale. And like, it's the same thing when he was attacking that depot on Sylphid. I'm watching it and I'm like, you know what Terran's thinking, seeing you kill that depot? You're not killing SCVs. I don't care about that depot. That's 100 minerals. I don't care. It's just so hard for Zerg to punish that particular opener.
Dude, I actually am watching, kind of because it's on cast delay here, and watching the game again on the other screen, and he had 1 turret at the second build. 1 turret, so if Zerg swoop, like, just goes in, kills the turret, and sunkens the main, and you could sack the third, right? That's going to be a nasty for Terran, right? So the thing about TerrOr is he's a very intuitive player. Like, he really reads into your soul, because if Zerg counterattacks into the main base, I think that might be game over. And that's the kind of thing that Crossy likes to do, right? Like, that guy is just always countering, always just making you nervous about how many turrets you're and stuff. But I think TerrOr knows, I don't think Jiren's going to do this. And he called his bluff, and he went out, and he just looked invincible. He looked absolutely invincible. If I were Jiren, I'd be scratching my head, and I'd be ready to play Protoss. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Yeah, it looked like he had no answer, right? And that's what walls can do for you. I know I always talk about, I know I'm the boomer always talking about walls, but you saw it. He had 3 Marines, man. Like, come on. If he hadn't built the Hydras, the game ends. But it is what it is. TerrOr gets a 2-0 victory, and this sets us up for an NbA versus TerrOr lower bracket finals. That should be epic, especially because of the games we already saw between NbA and Dandy. Even though NbA losing 3-0, they were good games. They were close games. However, if TerrOr makes it through, it sets us up for what I think a lot of people want to see, which is the Dandy TerrOr finals. I know people don't like TBT, but when you've got these caliber of players facing off, you know they're going to be great games. And whenever I think of Dandy versus TerrOr, I always think of the Gold Rush game that we had several seasons ago.
Oh.
Did you see that one? That was insane.
Who won that again? That was TerrOr, right?
I think it was TerrOr, yeah.
I forget who won, but it was absolutely insane. It was just back and forth and back and forth, and I forget exactly how it went, but I just remember it was like an hour long with like some battle and all the stuff. But Gold Rush, fun map. I like seeing it.
Yeah, this is going to be a wild loser bracket finals and grand finals, so I'm looking forward to it regardless of who makes it out of the lower bracket finals. But that is it for us today. Thank you guys for watching. We of course want to thank OptiMuck, our main sponsor, for supporting the BSL, and we have several Patreon supporters, of course, at our $100 level. The one and only, it is Star Lover. And at $50, we've got Anthony Chen, Martin Harsmar Striker, and Zero Sum. $30 level, Robert Groot, Flazardo 86, Cuz, and Tupacalypse. And $20 level, Nicholas Schuler, Christian Eddington, LML, Lingenpump, Niantic, and Quark. And all you other Patreon supporters, thank you so much for supporting the BSL. And thank you to Jae-Yoon for co-casting with me on short notice. It was fun. I enjoyed your Zerg input, and I enjoyed that you enjoyed that irradiate at the end. As a Zerg player, I know you felt it, but it's always nice to see. Well, it's not always nice if I'm the one receiving it, but watching literally 1,000 minerals, 1,000 resources die to one spell.
That was amazing. Yeah, you know, I've been playing some Zerg lately as well, but now that just reminded me why I should never go back. So that was the highlight, and also like those 12 lurkers getting like 180 degrees surrounded by all those reasons. That was also good.
So, and I guess you guys can see that we've got the YouTube channel behind us. You should definitely sub there and watch all the BSL from this season and previous season. You know, Asian Championship, I can see it right there in the corner. Check out those games. Those were some insane games. You want to see aggro play? Definitely watch that. Absolutely crazy, insane play. But that's it for us today, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with the finals of the Latin America Championship and also the start of the North American Championship. So definitely tune in. Those are going to be some great games.